Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, here we go. All right, everybody, we're about to start. Why is this on? Did somebody turn that on? Yes, Roger did. When that bulb burns out, we're going to have an issue. I'm just saying. All right. Okay. Pop quiz. Raise your hand. Yes. I said I have two things I want to try and cover with you guys today. Who can name both of them? What? Somebody? Yes. Retention. No, I didn't say retention. I said I was going to finish going over the sheet, and then I said 5 students in 10 days. All right. If I only could do one, this is curious. I'm going to do both, but if I could only do one, raise your hand if you want 5 students in 10 days. Raise your hand if you want to finish going over the sheet. Well, I mean, that was almost like right in half, right? So that's crazy. All right, let's do this. Pull out your sheets. Well, so Mr. Cartan says we should all know this because we're in the business. And we should all know a lot of things, right? I mean, just it takes a little bit of time. All right. Actually, let me start with something else first. I'm going to start with the 5 and 10 because I think that's really important. And so keep that sheet out for later. But I want to go 5 and 10. And I'm going to ask for a volunteer, and I don't know if this will actually work. Okay, I really have no idea. But I'm going to try and make a point by showing something to everybody on my cell phone. So this will be the one time we'll be able to pull out cell phones from somebody later on. But raise your hand if your children's classes are typically bigger than you have more children in your school than adults. Right. That's typical. That now there are some schools that are adults only, right? So it doesn't matter, but regardless of whether you have an adult mostly school or a child mostly school, what we're going to go over right now is very simple. It's very easy, and it's going to get you 5 new adult members in, I said 10 days. Maybe it's 5 new in the course of a month. Now, here's the one thing you're not allowed to do. Here's the rule you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to say, well, I already do that. Okay? Because if you already did it with success, then we wouldn't be here. I mean, I know some people who everything we say, I already do that. No. Okay, so, and this is really, really, so I gotta word it correctly so we understand the value. But I learned this a long time ago. We have all of these kids, which means if I have 100 kids, how many parents do I have? Well, it's 200. I mean, unless I'm missing something, there's 200 parents. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody's mother and father is at the school or whatnot, but I promise you there's 200. Okay? I believe the value of martial arts is so big that every adult should be training in martial arts. Now, let's just raise our hand and give me a reason why an adult. I am going to try and structure it, so I'm going to ask for hands. One reason, and I mean it should be one sentence or less. Why would an adult train in martial arts? Well, no, that's why you want an adult to train. If you're selling martial arts to adults, what's one reason? Fitness.
Well, whatever's wrong with their kids, it's their fault, so they got to fix themselves.
Okay, well, I'd love to hear you explain that one in the enrollment conference, but okay. How about we just do self-improvement? Maybe that would be better. Self-improvement. So another reason. Self-defense, right? I mean, self-defense, and then we could break down self-defense into 50 categories of self-defense. Self-improvement, self-defense, fitness. What else? Stress relief, absolutely. I mean, just be honest. Nothing hitting the bag and getting some sweat out. There's nothing better. Stress relief. Socialization. If you have enough adults, it can be a nice social environment. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a fair comment, but it's not the answer you're marketing outside for, but internally, it's an activity you can do with your children. How many people? I mean, there's only one coach on a baseball team, right, or a softball team. So if you want to participate with your kids in baseball or softball, it's not so easy. You can really have an activity you can participate with your children. What's another reason? What's that? Flexibility, which I would make the case is health-related flexibility. I mean, gosh, used to love seeing the guy come in who works at the desk with the busted up hip or something because he just turned wrong. If you took martial arts, you'd be more flexible. Those injuries happen less and less.
Convenience, they're already there.
Convenience relative to maybe fitness or something. You don't have to go to the gym down there. It's convenient to be here. Any others? Discipline. Goal setting. Discipline. I think a lot of people recognize that they could use a little discipline in their own lives. I'm fishing now. I don't have any others. I'm just asking you, is there any others? Confidence, empowering, particularly for women. But definitely confidence, empowering. How many people have an adult that trained earlier in their life and just stopped but loved it? I mean, how about just for the pure martial arts of it? I mean, martial arts is kind of cool. It does, whether it's karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, whatever, it's kind of cool. Anything else? One more, yes.
I also have parents trained who I think would be good instructors.
But that's for your reason, not there. So I'm going for the reasons why. So here's my question. If I'm trying to sell martial arts to an adult, and right now I am talking parents, you guys just gave about a dozen reasons, right? Which reason do I sell to my parents? All of them. Okay, so I made this comment to Mr. Metzger yesterday. I said, and I mean this for our own schools. I said, we have 200 students at an average school, which means 400 parents. And of that, we got 25 adults maybe training, and only half of them parents. I said, if our instructors can't sit down and get 10 parents to try out in a class, this is exactly what I said. I'm not, so everybody listen, I didn't say this about anybody here. I said this about my own team. I said, if they can't sit down and get 10 people to participate in a class, they just suck. That's what I said. I said, I mean, you got hundreds of parents in there, and it's about building rapport. So now I want to go another story back. That was a conversation I had just literally yesterday with Mr. Metzger, or within the past 2 days. Then I go back, and I was sitting at a black belt test, and we were talking about the young instructors and how they were helping at the black belt test, and this is how they were helping. It just looked like this. Oh, wow, they're doing a lot out there. And then I was talking with Kathy LaBeouf, our general manager, and it truly is that this age group, and I'm not saying everybody, but as a whole, this age group just doesn't have the social skills that we, or many of us, grew up with, or the older generation. So why don't, and I mean, this is a fact, this isn't me just saying it, I mean, you can, it's common sense to a degree. We've done a lot to become more efficient in our lives. And in the process of becoming more efficient, we've cut out a lot of things to people. As a matter of fact, you can ask if you meet any of our office staff. We had a big office meeting and says, guys, anything that's important that you send an email or a text to at the schools, you're now required to pick up the phone and follow up. That's it. Pick up the phone. And by the way, I know that annoys the hell out of some people that they got to do it. Right? But what we've done is we've gone from the phone to the email, from the email to the text, and then from the text to the short text. So this was where I may be off on this, but I'll read you a text that I got this morning. And then I'm going to ask somebody on the younger age, of the generation here, to maybe show me a text of theirs. Do I have a volunteer who could show me a text that won't be evasive? Now, guys, when I said the younger, everybody in this room is looking at their phone. I really didn't mean all of y'all are that younger, okay? So now the ones that are younger are sitting in their seats and squat. I'd like to see a text from you and a friend that won't be evasive that maybe you could share. Would that be possible? Do I have somebody who would share? I don't know that how old are you? 31, you're not younger anymore, sir. I'm sorry. I know you want to be younger, but, and by the way, if you had told me 29, I wouldn't say you're not younger either. So all right, guys, we're one less member in the program right now. Do I have anybody in there twice? Yes, sir. How old are you? 24. Are you an avid texter?
Yes, sir.
Come on up. I may be wrong on this. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm just curious. You see this young generation, if that was me, I'd be running up here. Now I'm just beating down everybody. All right, pull up a text. How are you? All right, pull up a text from you to a friend somewhere. All right. And I don't know, you know, what happened. I'm not looking. Just curious, how many people thought 31 was young in here? Yeah, not even. I'm not sure 24 is young anymore, to be honest with you. But. All right, I got. Yeah, not necessarily reading this language on here. Okay. Here, I'll read this one. So sad, unhappy, smiley face. Where's the closest window? Okay. Bullshit. Aha, beautiful. Okay. Okay, not bad. Actually, you text even in full terms at least. She has good conversation text. We've managed to go from phone call to email to text to then making a text that would normally sound like, hey, how was your day, sir? I hope it's great, to making that sentence this big with emoji and half words, right? We don't even type things out. So we've figured out how to even make the smallest of conversation into even smaller. Right? So yours weren't there, so congratulations. You get to live to 25 anyway. But you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, I have somebody in the real estate world that texts me every now and then. It's like I got to decipher what it is because I don't know how to read in characters. I mean, and she can say something in 5 or 8 characters that would take me like I'd be texting. So everybody gets it, but through that process, we truly lose how to be social individuals. I really mean that. And I think we know that as well. Now, there's other things that combat that, like I would contend that Facebook actually is the anti that. Communicating is different, but you're out there, you're expressing. But a lot of people don't know how to converse one-on-one in person. Well, we're a one-on-one service industry. Okay, we are. People buy, sign up, train based on their feel for us. Now, the instructor is pretty good at this, right? Because they're up there, they're forced to communicate. But the program director often doesn't, number one. And then often the program director doesn't do it well. So if I said to you, raise your hand if you, and honestly, now I'm going to ask you, if you're a pretty social, well-communicating person. Okay, so like almost everybody raises their hand. But does everybody also agree that it's impossible that everybody here in this room communicates very well and is very social? Does everybody agree with that? So the problem is we don't know what we don't know. We just don't. Who's the worst person to judge if you're really good at something? Yourself. You're either too hard on yourself or you're blind. It's one of the two. And more often than not, you are blind. Right? So Mr. Metzger and I learned this, and we have two separate examples of we were both coaching somebody on how to do something, and these are years. Both of the stories are probably at least 8 to 10 years old, but teaching people how to do upgrades. And we thought it was real easy, and the instructors thought they were doing it well and didn't understand why they weren't getting upgrades. He had one person shoot a video of him, and it was the most horrid thing we had ever seen. And we went and visited the other school because it was in somewhere in Florida. Won't say where in case the person's here or not here, but well, they're not here. But you've heard this story where the instructor started screaming at the person. Right? So my point is we're either too hard on ourselves or we're blind, and much too often we're blind. So here is how we enroll 10 students or 5 students in 10 days. And again, take the 10 days and you can stretch it over 3 weeks if you want. Okay? But here's what I believe. I believe if I can get 10 to 15 adult parents to take a class in my school, just them and me, okay, just them and me, I can get 50% of them to sign up. I believe I'm that good, and I believe martial arts is that important. So now I'm going to ask you, do you buy into yourself? If you can get 10 people who are already attached to your school somewhat, which means if they are taking the class, there's at least an iota of interest. Do you believe if you can get 10 to 15 people to try your class, that you're good enough to get 5 of them to sign up? Raise your hand if you believe that. Okay? Now, so let me ask this other question. Let me change it around. Because not everybody raised your hand, which means you're sleeping, or one of two other things. You don't think what I'm going to say works, which is fine, or you honestly don't believe you're good enough to get 5 people out of 10 to 15 to sign up. Raise your hand if it's the last. It's my job to convince you that what I'm going to say works. But I'm curious how many people didn't raise their hand because they're not sure if they're good enough to get 5 out of 10 or 15 people to sign up. Raise your hand high on that one. Okay. Well, that's very honest, number one. And that's a self-training deal. And I might disagree with the people that raise their hand. You probably are good enough. But I don't know. How many people didn't raise their hand because they don't know what I'm going to tell them to do just yet, and they're not sure if they can pull that off in general? I mean, that's fair too. I haven't told you, so now I'm going to tell you. And it's all about this social aspect of how we do things. And guys, just so you know, I think back in the day when I was teaching, I had as big of an adult class as anybody did, other than adult only or primarily schools, and it was because of the social skills. I mean, I still don't know how to really text, email, and all that stuff, so I'm forced to communicate with people through genuine communication. But here's what it is, and please don't put up the thing, we do that, I know how to do that. One, I asked, which one of those benefits do you communicate to people? And everybody said all of them. And that answer is halfway. It's not all of them. It's any one of them to anybody at any given time. Okay? You don't say, let me take it back to the kids. You don't tell a kid you're going to build self-confidence when the problem is they're the bully in school. You don't teach the bully in school self-defense and how to fight. That's not what the parent is. We have to understand why they're in there first. When you understand why, we're not going to teach, we're going to help you get better grades. And then you find out it's an honor roll student. Does that help? No. You don't teach the honor roll student how to get better grades. Okay. So, I think I can shut the phone off now that we've looked at the text. Sorry. Okay. So, we have to find out from the adults what is important to each individual adult. And how do we do that? By passing out the survey, right? Text them. No, it's a sit-down conversation. So can I get 2 chairs to come up? Somebody bring up 2 chairs and a volunteer. Somebody from the front row. Who's going to do it? Who's going to volunteer? All right, you coming up, Mr. Todd? Come on up. Can I get you guys to just give up your 2 chairs on the end? Maybe scoot down for a second. Oh, now don't bring the one from all the way at the end. I mean, we got to be a little more efficient than that, but I appreciate it. So we'll just take those. There's one. Guys, I'm telling you why we're going to do this. Because some people are going to say, he's really going to sit down and show me how to have a conversation with somebody. No, Mr. Todd, you volunteered, didn't you? Have a seat. I'll never forget when I first opened this school, and one of the questions is, how often do you clean, right? Every day. And I asked the person to clean the bathrooms. And I went in there, and she was the program director, and I went in there afterwards, and the bathrooms, the toilets were disgusting. And I got her, and I came back and I said, hey, this is gross. You didn't even clean the toilets. And what do you think her response was? She said, I don't know how to clean a toilet. It wasn't a lie. I don't know how to clean a toilet. I mean, she grew up. I'm guessing she was about 20 at the time, but didn't know how to clean the toilet. That's actually a perfectly acceptable answer. Right, now, how many people find that bizarre? I think if you think about it, it's not as bizarre as you really think. She never did take the scrubber and spray the stuff and clean it. I literally showed her how to clean the toilet. Anybody does anybody know who Michael Gerber is? You know, he would tell you, you literally explain how to spray the spray, what angle to scrub. I mean, you got to break it down. So I'm going to show you how to build rapport. Mr. Todd's just sitting there. He's watching class. Okay. Yeah. Very, very good. So very, very good. Get out of my school, sir. All right. So, now it's quite possible you have, full seats, but let's assume there's an extra seat there. I'm just literally going to sit down. It's hard to sit down with this right there. Hey, sir, how you doing? Oh, awesome. Good. So, just curious, what did I already do?
Make contact.
What do you mean made contact? I did. I mean, this is a grown man, big guy. If this was a lady, am I going to do that? No, but I mean, this is a big guy. Hey, man, what's going on? I mean, I feel comfortable, right? And honestly, I'm doing it based on totally the physique of the person that's up here. But that is rapport. This is a big, strong-looking dude, athletic. That's something that you would do, right? I mean, honestly, if he was dressed like me, sitting there, do you think I would do that? I'd probably go, hey, sir, how you doing?
Oh, great.
See you, man. Awesome.
How's it going, sir?
Honestly, I just want to make sure everybody sees how important what I just said is. I don't know that everybody understands the difference between what's up and hey, sir, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good. Fist bump.
So what's your class? All right. Does everybody see does everybody see the merit of what I'm just talking about in that first? Is it wholly possible that the 18-year-old in your school doesn't understand that right there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was an emphatic yes, I believe. So I'm sitting down. We're talking. Bobby looks good out there. Good class.
Yeah, my son's a rock star.
Well, in all fairness, he's not going to be texting once I sit down, right? And so we're just in there, and I'm just sitting there watching. Say, awesome class. How's he doing in class?
Oh, man, he's loving it. The instructor, Master Todd, he's awesome.
Master Todd actually mentioned to me that he sucks. All right, no, I'm serious. No, Master Todd mentioned to me he's really doing really well, really happy with his progress. As a matter of fact, I would anticipate, sometime in the future nominating him for Black Belt Club.
Really?
No,
I'm ready for that?
If Master Todd believes he's ready, that's what is most important.
He is an expert.
But actually, so number one, how do I build rapport first? What's the common denominator? His child. Everybody wants to hear about their child. Okay, so we're just going to talk about his child. Say, but actually, I got to be honest, that's not why I was talking. Have you ever thought of training in martial arts?
Oh, wow. You know what? I did rugby. It was too easy.
Too easy.
Yeah. But no, Never tried martial
So why do I ask that question? It's just a point blank question. We're in the rapport building mode. Why do I even ask it? This could be low hanging fruit. He might just simply say, yeah, you know, I've been waiting for an invitation from you for the past 2 years. I've been sitting here. It really could be. A lot of people just say, yeah, you know, I really have thought of it. I just don't have I don't think I can. I think it's too much. All objections that we can, but not if you don't know them. So I just sit down, I point blank and ask. And then maybe he gives me the answer. Well, what the best answer would be, and you watch, you'll go back to your school. Very rarely is it go like this. Have you ever thought about taking class before? Very rarely is the answer no.
I've thought of it.
Well, no, the answer is often no, but there's a qualifier with the no. No, I mean, I just do not have the time. No, I work out at the gym. No, I'm so uncoordinated, I just think I'd be embarrassed.
I'm out of shape.
I'm out of shape. I'm waiting until I stop smoking. I mean, every answer, very rarely, 1 out of 10 times will you hear just no. And by the way, if you're doing a good job of rapport building, people will try not giving you one-word answers anyway. They'll dialogue, no, man, I just don't know. You know, I don't know if that's really for me. That's awesome. I know it's for you. So whatever answer you want to give other than the one word no, but just give whatever answer. So have you ever thought about training? Because I got to tell you, it's an awesome activity that, you know, unlike a lot of other sports, you can be practicing at home.
Yeah, my knee's a little messed up. You think I can do it? I don't know.
Well, number one, I know you can do it because every now and then, I got some knee problems as well. But here's the, I don't know if you know this, but in 2 weeks from today, we're having a parents-only class. 1, it's just parents. 2, it's just parents that are not already involved in martial arts. I'm the one teaching it, unless it's not going to be you teaching it, or Master Todd is teaching it, whoever it is. By the way, I will recommend genuinely, if your program director is a female, and she's also able to teach the class, that's the very best. The best would be female instructor doing it, because now I'm building rapport and there's a little less threatening behind that. Second best is either male program director that can do it, that's building this rapport right now, or depending, the instructor as well. It could be. If your instructor has a good rapport presence with the students that's always out there networking, then they're just fine to do it. If your instructor is one of the instructors that teaches, dismisses class, person comes up and doesn't really integrate, not as good as the person sitting right here. Does that make sense? All right, so I say, yeah, no, I think your knee will be fine. You know, we have a class in 2 weeks. 1, it's just parents. Okay? It's just parents that haven't ever done a class, so it's full of beginners.
So, newbies.
Newbies, exactly. It's low key. Okay, do you like to work out or?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's going to be a fitness component to it, but it's low key. You're not going to walk out of here sore or worried about having a heart attack. And I'll make note that you got a bum knee, so we go easy on that. But if I could, you think you'd be interested in coming into class?
Yeah, I think I'd give it a shot.
All right, so here's the we weren't going to give uniforms out, but how about I just toss you a uniform, and then if you don't like it, you just return me the uniform. But come with the uniform, and that way you'll kind of feel comfortable, and it'll be loose. Well, yeah, because you know what? Also, you just find when that gi is over your knee and all, you're kind of aware. It'll make it so you don't kick it out of place or anything like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So, all right, so give me 1 second. What did I do a lot of? Just curious. Here's I'm leaning in. I'm touching. I'm being serious. You know, I got this great adult class here. I look like a stiff in a suit. You know what I mean? So I'm leaning in. I'm talking. I'm lowering my voice. I'm whispering. Honestly, even as I'm doing it for you, I'm doing it the way I would do it. I don't even. I'm lowering the voice. I'm talking. I'm doing a lot of this, right?
Yeah, we're buds.
We're bud. All right. If it was her, I'd do this. No. But I said that on purpose because you can make people uncomfortable too. I've been in places where I know people were building rapport with me, and they were not doing anything other than trying to build rapport, and did one of these, hand on the knee, and it was very uncomfortable for me because I'm a married guy. I just thought that was kind of weird, but I know it wasn't misintent. So you got to be careful. It's not you might be thinking, oh, we're building rapport. Hey man, good deal. Probably not a good idea. So anyway, but here, it's all good. Tap. All right, man. So hold on, let me go get your uniform real quick. And when you go to get that uniform, you beeline. Don't talk to anybody. Get the uniform. I got some beeline back. I mean, I'm right there. I don't want anybody to derail me where he's thinking of anything. Why am I giving him a uniform? What's the uniform do?
Seals the deal.
It what? Well, it's an anchor. It's an obligation. If he doesn't have the uniform and he doesn't want to sign up, what's he do? He just doesn't. What's he got to do now if he doesn't show up? He got to come have a conversation with you. Because I know somebody's going to say, oh, man, you want me to get 15 people and 10 uniforms? That's $150. And I'm saying $150. Let's say only one person shows up. It's still, that's less than your cost of running an ad. And by the way, I will say that you stink if you get 15 people there and can't sign up one. Come on. Right? So I built all this rapport. And the conversation is going to be different if he was a she, or he was in a suit, or he was in a whatever. But this is conversation. You cannot do this by phone. You cannot do it by any other means than one-on-one. That's how we build rapport. But what I want you to see is work with yourself and work with people and see all the humanality that goes with building the rapport. Then you give them the uniform, then what do? You hang out a little bit longer. But you do. No, you actually don't. You hang out a little bit longer. And that's it.
So I got to wear this?
You got to wear that. Come 5 minutes before class. All right. Don't eat a lot. You might throw up. All right. Give him a hand, everybody. Okay. Now, so I said don't go right on to the next person. If class is from 6 to 6:30 and I start with him at 6, I'm done at 6:15, I go to the next person, it looks very disingenuous. The rapport building, because you're essentially going to do the same thing. Okay? So you got to wait till the next class and then repeat. Okay? But don't be doing that 3 times. Now, if you have 2 program directors, that you both can be doing it. Because he knows I'm trying to get people into the class. But you don't want to look as disingenuous because there was a real nice heartfelt deal going on there, right? There's a warm feeling. Okay? You don't want to water down that warm feeling with, now do the same exact thing to the next person. Okay? So if I have that conversation, my goal is to get 15 people in the class. If I have that conversation 30 times, do you think I can get 15 people in? 50%? Guys, don't make a mistake. There's some people who've got no interest at all in trying out the class. That's okay. No, I really have no interest in doing class. Thank you very much. Now go to the next person. See? So if you, and by the way, I don't know what the number is, but I want you to get 15 people in the class. If you don't think 30 conversations do it, have 60 conversations. What's the worst that can happen from these conversations? Well, yeah, where is the downside? Someone's going to say, I spent a lot of time doing it. Is building rapport have any downside to it at all? As a matter of fact, had he said no, what did I actually already pre-frame in his case for coming down? There's an upgrade coming down the road. Guys, do you know how I know that works? One of the stories Mr. Metzger, that I was telling you about, Mr. Metzger and I went and visited this school, and we watched the upgrade process. We were telling Mr. Tassel the story, is what it was. We were watching the upgrade process, and after the instructor got done yelling at the student for not upgrading, and I mean that very seriously, he didn't get what was going wrong. We said, we've never been in the guy's school ever. I said, watch, we'll show you how to do an upgrade. And I sat with the parent who's never seen me before. I'm not wearing the guy's shirt. I got her to the enrollment conference where Mr. Metzger played the program director, and he enrolled her and got a $250 down payment. We could have been thieves. They didn't even know who we were. They didn't even know who we were. It's like the valet driver where somebody just comes up and takes your key and he doesn't even work there. I mean, we could have been stealing from the lady. But they were so needing of rapport building and a little warmth that when I sat down and just kind of talked, oh, wow, that's your son, man, he looks really good. I see he does weapons. Yeah, well, in the up. And literally, we just walked her. Do you remember that? It was either $250 or $350. I actually don't remember. It might have been a little bit more money. And then, of course, the guy was in awe. And it wasn't a secret. He had no social skills. Guys, social skills are not something you're born with. It's something you learn. Unfortunately, sometimes we've unlearned them because we've condensed things from phone call, email, text, shorten the text. So I 100% guarantee you that doing that drill will build a lot of rapport in your school. All of those people sitting there have some interest beyond nothing and their future sign-ups for your school. Then you do the class. Now here's the class. Through this, I might even sit everybody down and say, so tell me, what would be of interest for you in class? I've got a really great class planned, but I want to touch on a little bit of something for everybody. So I got 10 people, 15 people in a class. I can do that real quickly and say, does anybody have anything special they really like to do? I can even ask them. You got to be a good instructor to be able to create on the fly. But here's the 3 things that I know you've got to have in a class, the 4 things. I take that back. Number 1, you've got to have a little bit of exercise. Guys, here's the deal. You're not out there to show them how bad a shape they're in. They already know that. If you try, if you've got the big guy who works out every day, there's nothing you're going to do in your karate class to show them how hard a workout you can make. That's not who you're catering it for. Your average person, if they do 25 push-ups in one day, will be sore. Well, not at one time. If they do 15, then 10 is the day. They can't do them. Okay? Don't get out there and do 150 push-ups and 10 pull-ups. They can't do it. All you're going to do is make them realize they're not in shape and they want to go to the gym first. Okay? But there has to be a light workout, a little bit of cardio and a little bit of anaerobic as well. Maybe squats, push-ups. Number 2, you have to have some of that stress relief. You got to have a bag out there. I don't know who that's empowering to. Everybody likes it, but I want to hit a bag where people feel good. Number 3, I got to have some martial arts. I'm not giving these to you in order. You should teach them martial arts first, some punches and some kicks, then they do it on the bags. By the way, I do not mean a leather heavy bag that when you punch it, it hurts. Okay? I mean a target where when you hit, it gives and it goes in. Something that most of us wouldn't hold for each other because we're experts, right? But something that even a 250-pound man hits that doesn't know how to hit yet, it doesn't hurt. Okay? You want something they can feel comfortable, maybe a double XL bag, or it can be a blue Target type thing. And you've got to have some self-defense in it as well. Not complex, horrible self-defense. Okay, where it takes you so long to teach the technique. It's got to be something easy. It doesn't even matter what it is because it's just self-defense to them. It can be a wrist grab, 1 or 2 wrist grabs. I'm not really trying to give a self-defense seminar. It doesn't have to be prevention from the mount. It doesn't. Where you got to get on there. And by the way, so those are the 4 things. Hit the bag, a little bit of fitness, martial arts, and self-defense. You got to do a little bit of that. Class should be about 45 minutes long. Be cautious how much you talk. Do. At the end, everybody has their own what already? Uniform. And it's a group clothes. I'm not going to tell you what's special to do. I just want it to be the easiest, 0 barriers to entry. They already know if you do contracts or not. They already know, say, guys, I just want to let you know I had a really great time teaching this class. What you just did now, Mr. Beard made a real good point before. He made a really good point. He had said, don't have people driving your truck, and when they come to make the purchase the next day, you put them in a car. Whatever that class looked like that you taught, it needs to look a little bit like that when they come back. But you've given them 4 things, right? So in any given class, you just got to make sure you have bag work or self-defense or martial arts, you've already done it, and some fitness. Right? Don't bring them into a Krav Maga class if you didn't do any of that. They're not going to know what to do. Do a little bit of Krav Maga in that class if that's what you do. Okay? So let me finish up one more thing. So then comes the clothes and low barrier of entry. So I make it a very big discount. I would make this purposely plan that that the class is somewhere around mid-month. And that way I can tell everybody, guys, just want to let you know it's been really exciting. We have a great adult program. It looks just like this. We're running a special this month. If you sign up and want to get signed up, just keep the uniform and you can have the rest of the month free. We'll just change your paperwork later in the week and start your payments then. And by the way, we have a great family plan. It's blah, 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 blah. The only negative of that is without getting a big down payment, you probably may hurt your student value a little if you're looking at it. But guess what? You're not, because you want easy entry, right? When they come, they still have to do the paperwork, right? There's your opportunity to say, well, I'm very excited that you're here. By the way, if you'd like to just keep your paperwork the way it is and pay your membership in full, I give you 25% off. There's your paid in full option. You don't do it out loud with everybody. It's just the rest of it. I like doing it so it's scripted that the rest of the month is free. You don't have to do anything. I got 15 people in the room. I can get 5 of those people to sign up. The only other thing I would do, let me tell you the pitfalls. Do not bring in all your black belt staff to help teach. 1 instructor. Do not let the parents that are already training come unless they're white belts. They're intimidators. Do not allow husbands, wives, or partners to work out together if 2 people come. Separate them. It builds friends. Because here's what will happen. If the husband and wife are taking it, and the husband doesn't like it and the wife does, or the wife doesn't like it and the husband does, neither are training. If you separate them and they kind of build a little rapport already with somebody else in the room, even if one doesn't do it, the other might do it. It's that easy. How many marketing dollars went into it? 150. If I give a free uniform to everybody, sign up 5 people. Who spends 150 for 5 people all day long, right? By the way, if I'm so off and we are horrible at this, you only did great things. Every one of those parents that took a class is more excited about you and your school than they were before they started. Am I right? They have to be. All right, any questions? Mr. Nebkin, you had your hand up.
Well, you mentioned about giving them what you sold them to begin with. That would just be perceived as a bait and switch.
It would be, and I don't know that you would have done it intentionally to be a bait and switch, but effectively that's what it is.
Think about that before you start the whole process, because if you sell them all one and give them another,
Absolutely. Well, and that's why I said you do 4 things, because I don't know what it's important, but I know of all those 4 things, we do one of them every single class. But if all you do is go in and teach a self-defense seminar, I don't necessarily do self-defense every class. No. Any questions? Yes, sir.
You have a family discount program where two family members train for train at regular price and the remaining family members train for free. Would you still target the parents of that 2 kids in your program?
Wait, so you do the buy 2, get the rest of the family free. Well, one, why everybody, I do want that parent to sign up, but they're free. Does everybody know why, the real secret, why we want the parents in there? What's the real reason? It's not just that. Not just that. There it is. Here's what happens. And by the way, I like both models. I like everybody paying but at a discount, and I like buy 2, get the rest free. I just want you to understand why. If I have buy 2, get the rest free, if you have 2 people in class right now, and one wants to quit, it's an issue, isn't it? You may have your policy, but it's an issue. You got to deal with it. If you have 2 people in class and the third's free, and one wants to quit, which person's the free one? The one that quits. So it alleviates the issue if somebody ever wants to quit. Now, it has its own issues with it, but the bottom line is, yes, I'd let them in, and I would look at that. If 5 parents came in and started training for free, I would look at it as every bit of a success as if I had paying people. Now, would I rather some paying people? Sure, but I'm just getting that benefit later in life. You know, I get people paying, it's immediate. I get the freebies. I know I'll reap that benefit in a month, 2 months, 6 months from now. Question, I saw, sir, no.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes.
What is the best time that you recommend having this class? In other words, if one of the objections may be that, well, my kid's already in class, do you have that parents' class while their kid's already in class? Or is this
Okay, so there's 2 questions. The parent class cannot be while there's anything going on in the school. Okay, people, adults, they're embarrassed. They don't want to get up there and do it. You forget this because you've been doing this so long. They don't want to get up there in the pajamas or the tights or the rash. They don't want to do it. It's got to be private. So that either means for most people a Friday evening at 7:30, maybe after classes or even cancel class, or it means Saturday. And if it's Saturday, it's a special event. You can even cancel a class if you have to. Now, if you have a 2-floor room, that's easy. You know, you segregate them out. But no, it does not go on during that. And by the way, we can't overcome every objection. You know, but on that one, this class should be where there's nobody out there.
If you have the ability to have it in a private room and it can occur during the kid's class, that's preferred?
It's convenient, and I got to be honest with you. I got to think that through because I've never had that convenience, and I've always had success doing this. But there's something nice. One, I don't want the expectation to be that class will be during that because I don't want parents to stop watching. And there's something about a level of commitment that if I got to come out on my own to do it. And so maybe I get less people coming, but those people that came, I know kind of are there about it. And also, it's just, I'm trying to put myself in the case of a parent, and I'm saying to myself, am I going to feel a little embarrassed? I'm about there. Am I going to feel a little embarrassed going into class or not with my kids there? I would, you could do it either way, but I think I would try and make a totally separate deal. Last question. I made that expectation when I said to him, I said, well, I might not have actually as I did it. So what I would say with them is you just say, hey, take the uniform, try it out, see if you like it. And by the way, if you don't like it, just return the uniform and I'll donate it to somebody else who maybe can't afford it one day. And then I'd take that, and then I don't know what you do with that uniform at that point in time. If you've got no problem washing it and then not selling it, but using it as another trial uniform, you could do that as a freebie. Again, as a free, or let them keep it. I would not let them keep it. I'm not giving because it's going to be a free Halloween costume to somebody one day. I want the uniform back, even if I throw it out. So, if you're in MMA school, jiu-jitsu, the question is do I give them a T-shirt or not? If you don't wear gis, I don't know if you need to give them anything. Maybe there's nothing, but the thing of giving somebody something makes them have to return it before they come in. So you got to find something to give them. All right, guys, we're on a 3-minute break. You can say there's a stand and stretch break. Whoa, stop. Hold on. Don't anybody move. Very important. Very important. Just because of checkout, just so everybody knows, we'll be breaking at 11:45, and that'll give you about 15, 20 minutes, and then we have lunch. And then one last thing. Does everybody know I am the least tech person in the world? I don't even have a Facebook account, right? I don't. So here's the deal. I don't have anything really on it. But Kyle, tell me what I'm supposed to tell everybody to do. I'm going to start posting content. So I'm going to get into this century. So I need everybody, though, to go and like my page. But by the way, at the Super Show, but I am one person that likes it at the Super Show. Even if you're not at the Super Show for one reason, I'm pulling a name out of the hat and doing a free school evaluation. I'm going to fly to your school and do the school evaluation. I don't know who will win it, so it's probably someone who's got a school in Hawaii, but I'm just saying. So, then I won't be picking it. I'll let somebody randomly pick somebody. But help me out here. Help me out. Because if I don't have a lot of people like my page, I won't be motivated to give good content. I'll just be like, oh, whatever. So before you leave today, you better get on there and like my page. There it is. Got it. Go break. 3 minutes. No, I'm going to manage it. I really am. I'm going to. Hello. What's up next?
"30 seconds to be in your seat, and then I'm rocking." All right. So let's get started. We got a lot to get in a short period of time. So, couple things. Number one, how many of you would consider yourselves partners in education with the school system? Raise your hands. Nice and high. Good. Hands down. How many of you would say that you have not broken into the school systems yet? Raise your hand. Good. Hands down. What I'm going to go through with you is a 4-week program that we do, but I want to be very clear to those of you that do not have a partner in education relationship yet with the school system that you're going to want to stay tuned, because this 4-week course can be done in daycares, with Girl Scouts, with Boy Scouts, with lots that we can take a lot of different approaches in doing the 4-week program, okay? So let me set it up for you so you guys understand the power of it. The idea with the 4-week program is we want to send a massive amount of people to our mass enrollment. So you guys heard Mr. Metzger talking yesterday about maybe clearing your schedule from Wednesday through Friday, putting mass enrollment on your schedule on Saturdays. You have to have a way to fill those events, and doing the 4-week course is one of those ways that you can fill the event. So we just did an event in in one of the school systems. We had 650 kids in the elementary school. I'll tell you exactly what we did in a minute, but I want you to get the big picture. 650 kids in the elementary school, 73 kids signed up for our 4-week course. We taught the 4-week course. We had a graduation on a Saturday at our martial arts school. We enrolled, 59 people showed out of 73, 59 showed to our martial arts school. We enrolled 26 of those people onto 1-year programs. 26, however, it was 32 members. So we did 26 1-year paid programs in one day. You guys can get 50% of the people that come in for your mass enrollment to get enrolled. Those are really, really big numbers. You start looking at what that does to things like your billing. It shoots our billing up over $3,000 in one day. I mean, it's a big deal. So we're going to go through how we're going to enroll 50% of the people that show up at our mass enrollments and how to get those people into your school. And then we'll cover the actual mass enrollment process so you guys know exactly what to do and how to do it. So let's go through. Let's start off with step number one. So step number one is we want to create and maintain our partner in education status. So if we haven't created the partner in education piece of this yet, we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing? Are we going to try to continue to get stuff from the school? Because a lot of the things I see, people are trying to get things. They're trying to go in and they're trying to get to be PE teacher for the day so that they can hand out their paraphernalia. They're trying to get things from the school. You have to change the mentality, and you have to go in with the giving mentality. A lot of us know that in September, we're going and we're doing back to school supply drive. That's our break-in for back to school time. We're doing a faculty breakfast. We're coming in with our partner in education brochure. And then maybe even we set up a booth for a Focus for Better Grades seminar. But we're given a lot of stuff in the beginning of the year. And then we kind of get what we want. And then we let that relationship just go on auto drive until next September when we want again. So we've got to do a couple things. We've got to make sure we look at Christmas time. Are we sending the school? Are we stopping the school and doing a fruit basket or an edible arrangement? Are we making that we're sure that we're stopping and chatting with them, thanking them for being a partner in education with us? At the new year, are we bringing in a veggie platter or a fruit platter and saying, hey, thank you, teachers, for all you do. Happy 2016, courtesy of whatever, Championship Martial Arts, and then next to it having free passes for all the teachers for 30 days. They can come in and train at your school. What are we doing to continue to nurture that relationship? So it's not just about creating that relationship, it's about nurturing that relationship as well. All the stuff I'm telling you can also be done with daycares. So you can do the same thing in the daycares. You can do the same thing with scouts. But we have to continue to give. There's lots of ways. People are people. So when I hear about we can't get into the schools, I understand that, but people are people. My story with the school system is this. I will tell you, don't ever go to the superintendent. Because if you get a no from the top, you're not getting in. We get flyers out, coloring sheets out, all kinds of things out in our school because of the relationships that we have with either the principals, the PTO, the parents. Some relationship that we have is how we get around all that. And so you just have to keep working that angle. But again, let's think big picture and know that we can also do this for scouting groups and things like that. So we've created the relationship. We want to maintain it. We want to make sure that step number 2 is we're going to schedule a launch day. So once we create and maintain a relationship with a school, we want to create a launch date. And what I mean by that is, when are we going to do this 4-week program? There's a couple different approaches that you can take. One is you can literally, if you have access to get into the school, you can put the flyers in the school folders and have those flyers go home. That is the easiest way to do it, and you'll have the least amount of success doing it that way. So yesterday you heard Mr. Metzger. He was talking about the time versus effort versus reward. It doesn't take any time to print off 650 flyers, divide them in groups of 30, give them to the school and say, hey, please hand those out. It's the wrong approach, right? We're not going to get many people to participate. The second approach, which is a little bit more labor intensive, is you align with the school. You go in. How many of your schools have PBIS? It's like a behavior program, like be responsible, be respectful, be safe. Does anyone know? Okay. All right. Your school has something, right? There's some way to tie in. And when you know the language of the school, it's also easier for you guys to get in. So, for example, you could do a school assembly. That's the second way that you can launch the 4-week program. So now we go in and we do a school assembly. We might do it for all 650 kids. They may break it out into 2 groups of 300 and 300, or 325, 325, and we do a school assembly. Well, what's the school assembly on? I'm tying into whatever the school's mission is. So in our case in Wisconsin, it's a state thing where it's be responsible, be respectful, be safe. So we talk about things like focus on their teachers in class, how to be responsible with their homework. So we'll do a school assembly. At the end of that assembly, I'll call up a boy who's been paying attention. I'll call up a girl who's been paying attention. They each get to break a board. We ask how many other people would like to come up and break a board. Obviously, we can't have the whole school do that. We show them the flyer for the 4-week course that we're going to have right here at your school in the gym. And we show them a picture, an actual flyer of what it's going to be. And we let them know, we've prearranged this with the school, that flyer is going to be going home in their take-home folder. That's the second way that we can launch it. So we do assembly, then we move into the 4-week course. The third way that we can launch is we can do PE teacher for the day. PE teacher for the day, 650 kids. You guys know it's all day, every day for 2.5 days. You're there. It's labor intensive. That's where you're going to get the most result because you're going to have that touch with more kids. They're going to know who you are, see who you are, and they're going to actually want to get signed up. So we're dealing with 24, 30 kids in a class now as opposed to the entire school. So it's much more labor intensive, but the results are also a lot higher. So that's the third way to do it. So that's how you got to pick your launch and how you want to do that. Number 3 is you got to schedule the course dates and the graduation. Okay? So this is where we want to talk to the principal and find out. Like, I say 4-week course, and there's a lot of reasons why I like the 4-week course. And I'm going to tell you, number 1 is you can be in 3 different schools at the same time. You can do one school on Mondays, another school on Tuesdays, another school on Thursdays. You can have all your enrollments lined up and staggered on the weekends. So you can be in 3 or 4 different schools at the same time. That's the benefit of a 4-week program. So you want to be committed to your goal and the objective of getting and doing the 4-week program or doing the program, but you want to be flexible in your approach. In other words, the principal may not want you there for 4 weeks, or they don't have the space for you. So we have to get creative and go, okay, well, we could do a 2-week program where we're going to do Tuesday and Thursday for the next 2 weeks. But we want to have 4 classes so we can build value, and then we can get them into a graduation to demonstrate to their parents what they learned. You can also do a 3-week program, so you can do 3 Mondays if you wanted to. So there's different approaches, and be flexible. And by the way, not only for the staff, or for the principal, but also for you guys. If you want to go home and knock this out, and you have to get some numbers in for March, a 4-week program might not be the best thing for you to do, because you're going to get back, it's going to be March, and then you're going to go in, do an assembly or a PE teacher for the day. Your program's not going to start until mid-March. If you want those numbers for March, you need to do a 2-week program. So it depends on how you want to hit your goals and where you want to be as far as your numbers and things like that. So those are your 3 different approaches that you can take with the school system or the daycares. There's different ways that we can set this up. How many of you have done a 4-week course before? Okay. How many of you charge for the 4-week course? Okay. How many of you keep the money for the 4-week course? How many of you do it? What do you do with the money? You give it back to the school, right? We've raised over $40,000 for our school system. $40,000. Because we give everything back. Well, our last one was 73 kids that we did $29. I'm always playing with numbers. So it's either 25, 30. I tried 29 just to see what would happen. But $29 times 73 people is just over $2,000 that we raised for the school system in that one program. By giving that money back, you secure your position as a partner in education. Or it may be a new approach for you to get in and become a partner in education, because now they can see the benefit. A lot of times schools will go in, martial arts schools will go in, and they'll go into the elementary school, and they'll want to keep the money from the program. And if you can, that's fine, but know that you can offer it for free. The school can keep the money, or you can keep the money. We like giving all the proceeds back to the school. So once we figure that out, we let we organize that with the school, and we have it where we actually will have the participants will register, and they'll make the checks payable directly to the school. We don't take the money and then write a check back to the school. We just don't want to be in the middle of that. We want them to know that all the proceeds go directly to the school. So that's how we deal with the schools. Step number 4 is to distribute the flyers. So flyer distribution, a couple things. Make it easy. Everything that you can do to make this fundraiser easy for the school is paramount. We send our stuff to Kinko's. We have it divided with a different color sheet of paper, so we literally use Lift-Off Lemon as the color paper that we use. We have them divided every 30 with a different color piece of paper. We go in with the box. The teachers, all they have to do, We offer to stuff all of the mailboxes. They typically tell us, no, we got it, because they know that when we deliver that box, it's divided every 30, and they can just pop it right into the teacher's mailboxes. We make it easy. If you make it difficult, they're not going to want to do that program with you. So you don't want a secretary having to count through 30. They got 600, 700 kids. It's just a pain for them to do. So divide them out into groups of 30. We also figured out, we did this, not this last time, because we exploded this last time with 73 people. The time before, we didn't have as many people registered as we had hoped. And so when you have enough leadway where you're sending out the flyer with a minimum, we like 17 to 22 days prior to the actual start date. And the reason I say is we want 2 full weeks for them to be able to register for the after-school program. So the reason we do that is if after week 1 we don't have enough participation, we can print up another flyer, send it out, and get more participation and more people to register. We actually sent out a lift-off lemon, and then we sent out a green, because it's green and gold. We're in Wisconsin, Packer color. No, I'm just teasing. But the reason we did that is so we could track it. And I asked my head instructor, I said, how many green registration forms did we get back? That was the second flyer that we sent back. He goes, oh, it wasn't that good. Okay, well, what's not that good? We ended up getting back, it was something like 11 or 12. Now, when I tell you that if you get those people to the graduation and you can enroll 50% of them, 11 or 12 additional people is another 5 or 6 people at whatever your basic program price is, right? So to me, that's a big deal. So we got to understand, well, what's a big deal, what's not a big deal? So getting that second flyer out, that's another way that you can generate more registrations as well. Step number 5 is to deliver or teach the class. So you're going to go in, whatever the prearranged date was, and you are going to deliver the class. Now, for sake of time, I'm not going to go through like step by step with the class. I'll hit on a couple key points for you that will make sense. Number 1, every class that you go into, you want to make sure that you're teaching life skills and you're injecting those at the end of the class when the parents are picking up the kids, okay? In our school, if you ask like time-wise what we do, our school is over at 316. Our 4-week course begins after school, directly after school, in the gym or the multimedia room. Or I was talking to somebody that said, well, the school just doesn't have room for us. I said, well, then ask for a hallway. I mean, we just got to get creative in how we're doing it, right? But we start directly after school and we go till 4 o'clock. The reality is that when these kids come down from their classrooms, it's about 3:30, okay? They come down, they're in their school clothes, they're not in uniform, we don't give them belts, we don't do any of that stuff yet. They come in, they're in their school clothes, immediately we're teaching life skills and life lessons about how to put their shoes against the wall, where to put their bags, have them line up. We like lining up small to tall or by grade, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, so on and so forth. We'll put them right on the painted gym floor lines. It's very organized, they're in class. With the group of 73, my head instructor, we had a conversation, he said, I really believe that when I know the people's name, we have a better enrollment rate. And so I said, okay. And he said, but sir, it's 73 people, and I have like 4 classes. So I had him take his cell phone, and he videoed each kid. It was like, go ahead and give me your first name and last name. First name, last name. First name, last name. To some of you, it took 2 minutes. He was like, this is going to take forever. It took him 2 minutes to get through everybody in the class, literally. But then what he did is, again, time versus effort versus reward, is he studied the video and he made sure that he knew every single kid. So when he was making confirmation calls to the parents later about getting them confirmed for the graduation, he knew who the kid was, he had a visual of them, he could say something about their child, and it was building rapport with those parents and with those kids. So that was one of the things that he did. During that class, you're going to want to teach fun stuff. Don't go in there and teach your traditional form. Like, that's not fun for the kids in gym class, right? So get in there, do line drills, make it fun, do partner drills. You have to keep the energy level high in that class and get them excited. we'll typically start off the class where we'll teach them attention stance, we'll teach them guarding stance, maybe a jab across, a rising kick, and maybe like star block set for class 1. Class 2 will come back, we'll review all of that stuff, we'll bring some sort of pad with us. So for example, we'll bring a blocker, we'll bring several blockers, and we'll have line drills, and now we'll have them using their high blocks and doing the high blocks and the blockers to get them engaged with a new piece of equipment, and then we teach them a new move. We might add in roundhouse kick for that class. Class 3, we go back, we review everything, we give another move that we teach, we bring in a different piece of training equipment. So a focus paddle, as an example, may teach, or a shield, we teach a side kick, okay? 4th class, same thing. We go in, we review, add a new move. We might teach them the most famous kick in the world that class and have some fun. We just have a good time with it. But every class we teach is all about the graduation. It's got to be about the graduation. So we make sure at class 1, they know when that graduation is, what day it's going to be, when it's going to happen. And we start talking about, hey guys, after 4 classes, we're going to have a graduation for you. You're going to graduate to your white belt. You get to break a real board. And afterwards, we're going to have a pizza, and they all go, party, right? And they have fun with it. In every class, we say that several times throughout that class. We want to get them ready for that graduation. Immediately after class 1, we have to make sure that we're calling the parent. The instructor is introducing him or herself, saying, hey, I just want to call and introduce myself. I'll be the one that's teaching your child. Just want to let you know they did a great job. Also, want to let you know our graduation is scheduled for Saturday at whatever time. Okay? By the way, I will be calling you again in a few weeks just to let you know. I'm going to give you a call because I want to find out how many people are going to be coming. And it's really a big deal. We want mom, dad, grandparents to be there. We tell them we want everyone to be there. Your child's going to get to break a board. It really helps boost their confidence. It's really a big deal for the child. So let's make sure everybody is there. And then I'm going to ask you how many people are coming just so we know numbers because we have a big pizza party. We want to make sure that we have enough pizza for everybody. Okay? And so we let them know that we're going to call back. So now that we've gone through class 1, 2, 3, class 4 comes up, we've got the graduation scheduled, and we've got to forecast out. When we look at the graduation date, we got to look at your 4 weeks. If graduation is the Saturday of spring break, not a good plan, okay? So you got to do like the Stephen Covey thing, begin with the end in mind. When is the graduation going to happen? When do you have a Saturday clear? And then for us, we had 73 people. We did not bring 73 people into one graduation because here's what we know. 20 to 25 people in a graduation is like the maximum number of people that we want. The bigger the graduations are, the less % people that we actually enroll. We just don't have time to get to everybody and talk to everybody. So it's very difficult. So we scheduled 3 graduations, one at 11, one at 1, one at 3. My head instructor just went through and said, okay, these are the kindergarten or first graders, and kind of got like 24 in that group, and then these are the second graders, and you got another group. And he just kind of divided the groups out. You have to be organized when you do this. You don't want your graduations happening on a bad Saturday. For us, we're in Wisconsin. We actually had the gym teacher, the PE teacher messed up and overscheduled, so one class was wrong, so we had to reschedule for the following week. The following week, we had a snowstorm, and schools were closed, so we missed another class that week. We had already had everything planned. Remember, parents paid $29 for the program, right? Do you think we added time on, or did we just like graduate when we were scheduled to graduate? We added the time. And I will tell you, we had parents come up to us and thank us for that. That was a big deal. We said, parents, we want to make sure your children get the full experience. We're going to add the time on. We redid our Saturday schedule. We had 59 people show up out of 73, which is a pretty good show rate. So keep that in mind. Have your Saturday clear for your graduation. Okay? So those are some of the basics of the 4-week program and having fun with it, teaching some life skills at the end of the class, making sure that the parents are engaged, and the instructor should be flanking the parents at the end of every class at the elementary school, introducing him or herself, and just building that rapport. So As we're getting closer to the graduation, we make the RSVP calls to the parents. We find out how many people they're going to be bringing so we can plan for pizza. By the way, I'm just going to tell you, for pizza, here's what we do. We have all of our pizzas double cut because kids take 2 pieces regardless. So we just double cut all our pizzas, and we have the place do that. We know that it's 8 people for every 1 pizza. So if you're looking for ratios, that's the way that we figure it out. It's a pretty easy thing for you guys to do. Figure out the number of people coming, divided by 8. That's how many pizzas you need. Just round up by 1, and you're good to go. The pizza is a key part to the graduation, which I'll talk about in a second. So let's move to the graduation day, which is the graduation, but it's really the mass enrollment, okay? So graduation day happens, and this is where everybody is coming in from this 4-week program that we're doing, and they're coming in, and we want to make sure that we're ready for them as they come in. So we set up a table outside in our lobby, and we have registration at that table. And what we do at that table is we'll have like a guest registration form, and then on the bottom of that sheet is actually the enrollment agreement, and we flip that under, right? And so all they're seeing is a guest registration form when they come in. We have every parent come in, fill out the top section. We have all of our name tags are all pre-done for the kids. We have them all done. So when they come in, they're spread on the table. The kids get their name tag. They put their name tag on. We'll typically have one of our junior students walk them to, hey, follow me. They'll walk them to show them where to put their shoes. We bring the parents in. All of our team members are all welcoming the parents, making sure that they're building rapport with the parents. We have to build rapport. Shake everybody's hand. Talk to everybody. You guys learned about the 5 and 15 rule yesterday. So work through that. Then we get ready for the graduation. So the graduation or mass enrollment, and let me back up just a step. If you're not doing 4-week programs in the schools, I just want to reiterate, you can do this in daycares. You can do this in the Scouts. You can do this. There's lots of different ways. And we can fill our mass enrollment through school talks, through lots of different things. I'm not going to get into all that stuff right now, but just know that at the end of the day, the mass enrollment is where we can get a group of people in front of us, and we can give them a special for enrolling today. And when we can get a big group of people in front of us, we can get lots of numbers in our school. So, graduation day. Pre-class. So here's what's going to happen. All the kids roll in. The parents are sitting in the chairs. We're ready for graduation. So you want to make sure it's staffed well enough. Ideally, you're going to want to have all your staff, right? But 3 to 4 staff members you need there if you're having 20 to 25 people show up for your graduations or mass enrollments. And the reason being is you need enough people to talk to. So you have to have that many people there for people to be able to chat with. So the parents are sitting down, and we go right into, this is the pre-class, so you're going to have the graduation. This is the pre-class speech that we give to the parents, okay? So the first thing that we have to do, step number 1, is we got to introduce. So this is mass enrollment, step 1. We need to introduce ourselves and our school. So I'll say, hey, everyone, I just want to welcome you guys to Championship Martial Arts. My name is Shane Tossel. How many of you have been to our school before? We'll welcome them back, and welcome to everybody else. We're really glad to have you guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday to come in and spend time with your kids. It's really a big deal that you guys are here. So I want to also introduce, step 2, I also want to introduce our team members. And so I'll say, hey, everyone, this is Mr. Brian. Everyone say, hi, Mr. Brian. Let me hear you. Say, hi, Mr. Brian. Hi, Mr. Brian. Yeah, and you guys are horrible just like the parents, right? And so we go, parents, come on, we got to get excited. Say, hi, Mr. Brian. Hi, Mr. Brian. All right, good. And there's, we got over here, we have Mr. Franz. Everyone say, hi, Mr. Franz. Hi, Mr. Franz. All right, good. And the reason we do this is now I just got you engaged in what we're doing. Because parents come in, they're not sure, right? They're a little uncomfortable, a little uneasy. We want to get you engaged in what's happening. So we get those parents engaged. We introduce our team members because it also helps to build rapport, because at the end of the mass enrollment, they're going to talk to one of those team members. And if we're just kind of like hanging out and doing these things, like it's not fun, right? We got to make it fun for the parents, fun for everybody that's there. So step 3 is we have to pre-frame that a sales talk is going to happen. So let's back up to we called and confirmed the number of people that were showing up for graduation to see how many pizzas we need to order, okay? Here's what we say. We'll say, hey parents, I just want to, again, welcome everybody for coming today, taking time out on your Saturday. Thanks for being here. And before we get started, I want to go through a couple things. As we were making confirmation calls, there were quite a few of you that were asking about how to enroll your child in our program, and I just don't know which ones of you that it is. So at the end, what I'll do is I'll go through, we have our biggest special of the year that we do today, and at the end, I'll go through that with everybody, okay? So I just pre-frame that sales talk is going to happen at the end. And then I go right into, but for right now, we're going to focus on the kids, okay? And so we talk about the next 30 minutes are going to be all about the kids. So here's what I need. We have a couple rules that we need to follow. Rule number 1, take out your cell phones, put them on silent or vibrate. Okay? Why? Because the next 30 minutes is all about these kids. Okay? And by the way, you think sometimes when you tell people that you're going to be like, oh boy. I see parents when we say that, like shaking their head like, thank you. Right? It's a big deal to them. It's a big deal to them. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is if they have those unruly future black belts in your school, the little siblings, the little crumb crushers, whatever you want to call them, the little goldfish steppers, all right. So if we have a sign, no goldfish. No, I'm kidding. If those kids start getting a little bit unruly, what we do is we tell the parents just to step out. We say, hey, get them calmed down, but then come back in because we do want you to hear what's happening and what your child's going through, and we want you to see it and we want you to experience it. In fact, we're going to have you get engaged at the end with some board breaking, and we'll talk about that in a little while. So that's rule number 2. Rule number 3 is we let them know that when they came in, when you guys walked through that door today, you guys walked into a positive zone, right? Everything that we teach here is all about building confidence. And so that's what our goal is to build confidence. So when your child's running around for warm-ups and you see them and they happen to trip and fall, right? You're going to look at them, you're going to give them a wink, a nod, a smile, a thumbs up, and tell them that was the best fall you've ever seen them, the best trip you've ever seen them have, right? You got to keep it positive. You want the parents in the right mindset. They have to be in that right mindset. And so it also lets them know that we're more than just a kick and punch school, because we're all about building confidence, and we're about building life skills and character development. So that's how the pre-class structure works. So at this time, we've got the kids are sitting behind, getting ready to go. And I'll tell the parents, we need your help. Then you can sit back and relax. So I'm going to get the party started. I'm going to say, parents, we need to give these kids some energy and some encouragement. Let's give them a big hand. Let's get them going. Come on, parents. Right? Yeah, that's your cue. That's your cue. All right, good. We're getting them engaged. We're getting them excited. Now, at that point, whoever the instructor was that was teaching at the school, the 4-week course, is going to stand those kids up, and it's time to rock and roll. So now they're going to show the parents and the grandparents and everybody else in the family what it is that they've learned over the last 4 classes together, okay? So, again, during that class, that graduation, actual physical class, it's got to be fun, crew. It's got to be a good time. You've got to, number 1, set those kids up for success. You've got to make sure that you're doing the same stuff in the graduation that you did at the school. Everything is really pre-planned, and they should be really good at it. It doesn't have to be a ton of stuff. They're not going to learn Form 1 in your 4-lesson course. We don't teach a form, right? We don't teach a form in that class. We teach star block, right? We teach a few kicks and punches. They just want, the parents want to see the energy, and they want to see the kids doing some moves. And it's pretty cool when you get these kids moving together. So during that class, we have them do some group stuff. Then we'll have them do line drill, ready, shift, and they turn face the bags. Now they're kicking the bag, running to the back of the line. We get them having fun. The music's playing when that's going on. Everything is about building the energy level up. So a graduation, we'll just say, is 11 o'clock. We know at 11:30 our pizzas are going to be ready. So it's a 30-minute graduation. It's not a 90-minute graduation. It's 30 minutes, high energy, fun, exciting. So as we get closer to the end of graduation, the kids are getting ready to break their board. We do hammer fist strikes, so they're practicing their hammer fist strike. And we're building up the excitement. We're building up the excitement for them to break their board. And so as we do that, what happens is we start going through having them hit a square hand target, and then we start talking about the life skills of breaking a board. And this is key. Parents are bringing their kids to you because they want their kids to learn life skills. They will sign their children up for life skills. The kids will sign up because they want to be the next ninja, right? It's just the way it is. Kids sign up for fun. They want to do it because it's fun. Parents want something more. This is our opportunity to really lay the life skills out. So we prep them for the board break. There's 4 things we cover for the board break. Number 1, we tell the kids, and I'll have the board in my hand, and I'll say, kids, here's the deal. We're going to break the board. How many of you think you can break the board? Raise your hand. And they raise their hand, and then I'll knock on the board, and I'll make it sound hard. And these are the thin boards, of course. Okay? And I go, I don't know. Sounds pretty hard. You guys think you can do it? Who still thinks they can break it after I clunk on the board, right? I'm like, one of those deals. And they raise their hand and say, okay, well, there's 4 things you need to break the board. The first thing you have to have is confidence, right? And I'll say, everyone say confidence. All right? Confidence is that yes, I can attitude. You've got to believe in yourself. Do you really believe that you can break this board? And of course, they're all saying, yes, sir, I can break the board. But the parents are hearing this as well, right? So now I'm talking about confidence, okay? Then I'll talk about having confidence in things that we haven't tried before in life. Or is there anything that we've ever, weren't sure about, and we were going to go try it, and we had to have that confidence to say, you know what, I can do that. Number 2 is we say, okay, not only do you have to have confidence and believe in yourself, but you also have to have focus. So if I have that board and I miss the board, is it going to break? Even if you're so confident, is the board going to break? And they go, no, sir. Okay, so if I hit the corner of the board, is it going to break? No, sir. Well, where do you have to hit the board for it to break? And they all say in the middle, right? So you have to focus on hitting that board in the middle. Now let me ask you a question. When you're at home and your mom or dad are talking to you, where should you be focusing? And they'll say, on them or in their eyes, right? And I say, parents, is that what's happening? And the parents all laugh because it's not happening, right? And that's why they need the program. So I say, okay, you've got all the confidence in the world. You believe you can break the board. You're focused. You're going to hit the middle of the board. But step number 3 is you have to have determination. That's a big word for a lot of little kids, right? Everyone say determination. They say determination. I say determination is having that no quit, go for it attitude. The no quit, go for it attitude. Are you guys quitters? No, sir. Right? We don't teach people how to quit. Parents, when you want to get on a 12-month program, you ain't quitting. Okay? So we pre-frame that. We get them thinking that way. So if you have the confidence and you focus and you go to hit the board and the board doesn't break, are you going to quit? No, sir. What are you going to do? I'm going to try again. So when math is hard for you and you don't want to do it anymore, are you just going to quit or are you going to try harder? I'm going to try harder. Now we've gone back to the parent again, and they're starting to hear it. Now they're starting to see and hear what we actually do in our martial arts school. And then we talk about step number 4. Step number 4 is, I forgot. Step number 4 is follow through. Step number 4 is follow through. So here's the deal. You can have all the confidence in the world. You can have the best focus. You can be determined. And every time you stop short and you don't follow through, is the board going to break? No, sir, right? So now we let them know they got to follow through, just like when they set goals or when they're at home and their parents tell them to do something. Do you listen the first time or the third time? First time, sir. All the parents are like, no, they don't, right? So we've just took all these life skills and wrapped it into what we do for the board break. Sidebar, we do the same thing in an intro lesson, by the way. We teach all those same things in our intro lesson. That's an easy way for us to bring the life skills in, okay? Now we get them amped up. This is where we're going to have the parents participate. The parents are going to come on the floor. We get them out. The students come up, and you can have it in groups of 2, 3, 4. We happen to do groups of four because there was 25 people in each of our groups. A parent comes up. We show them how to hold the board for their kid. They sit down. They get ready. And what happens is we have one parent. We let the parents come right on the floor. We don't care. Like, let them video the stuff. Let it go viral on Facebook. That's what we want, right? So we let them video their kids breaking the board. If there's only one parent there, which there shouldn't be because we've already pre-framed them to get everybody to come to the graduation, we'll hold the board and let them film it, or we'll film it for them. It doesn't matter to us. We want them to be part of that experience, and also, by the way, get on the floor. Because last deal, you just heard Mr. Silverman talk about getting adults on your floor. If they've never been on your floor, it's hard for them to get on the floor. So that's one more area that we can get them on the floor and get them exposed to being on the floor in our school. Now, they're on the floor. We've got the music playing in the background. We have the parents. We have the kids. Everybody's doing the drum roll. 1, 2, 3, hi-ya. They all break their board, and everyone gets excited, right? The crowd goes wild. We get through everybody breaking their board. Everyone breaks their board. We keep doing the same process. Everybody breaks their board. Then what we do is we send the kids to the back of the room with an instructor, okay? And they're in a huddle discussion. I turn to the parents. I say, parents, let's give them a big hand. They did a great job. We give them a big hand. And then they're in a huddle in the back. And there's two things that are happening. One, I'm going to give the close. Two, the instructor in the back has to know this. They're diffusing the kids. In other words, they're talking about respect, discipline, all that stuff. But more importantly even than that, they are prepping those kids to do something pretty sneaky in just a second. Kids, how many of you guys had a good time? Raise your hand, right? And you have to do that. You can't go, kids, how many of you had a good time today? I mean, you got to lead by example. You got to raise your hand. How many of you want to come back and keep doing this, right? And you get those kids excited. Once we do that, and the kids are excited, and this is timed, by the way. Thank you, sir. Speaking of time. This is timed. So they're tying on their white belts. The instructors are tying on their white belts. They're having a little conversation. And right before I'm done with the close, just as I'm finishing, the instructor says to the kids, and write this down, hey, kids, if you guys want to come back and do this some more, make sure you go tell your parents you want to sign up and get your uniform. Write that down. Tell your parents you want to sign up and get your uniform. Okay? Because here's what's happening while I'm talking to the parents. This is the post-class now. So you want to write down post-class. So after the class happened, step 1 in post-class is this. I'm going to get 2 affirmatives from the parents. They just watched their kids break a board. Like, parents, that's pretty exciting, right? And you're going to shake your head, and they're all going to, yeah, right? Do you see how it builds confidence in the kids? Yes, right? And then we say, Mr. Smith is going to take those kids in the back right now. He's going to sit them down and go through a little huddle discussion. He's going to go through a diffusing session right now because they just got done breaking a board. Do you see how big their eyes were? Like, we don't want them going home and like breaking all the furniture and, kicking their pets and things like that. And so we go through that concept with the parents. And the parents start chuckling and they have a good time with it. And we give those kids a big round of applause, and we make sure that we're talking about our life skills. So we thank them. Hey, parents, just want to thank everybody again for coming today. Really appreciate you guys being here, and I just want you guys to know that we're more than just a kick and punch school, right? This is not PE class. So we're a life skills and character development program. And you saw how that's taught in things like board breaking. And I interject those things, obviously, during class as well. And so we say we're going to dismiss for pizza in just a second. And you see all those boxes of pizza? Like we eat the healthy food, right? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle supplements. Pizza. But we can't leave all that pizza because my instructors will eat it all and they won't be able to move the right way. So you guys please join us for pizza. But before we dismiss, I just want to go through the program with you guys because I know, like I said, some of you are asking about it. And if I just dismiss, you're going to like come up and you're going to come up. And so I'm just going to tell everybody what the special is. Okay? And so this is where we do our pitch. And here's the special. So I'll say it just like this. I'll say normally, well, first I'll say we're a huge partner in education with the Appleton Area School District. And because of that, when we do an event like this, it's our biggest special of the year. Normally, when you come into our school, anytime throughout the course of the year, it's $199 down and 12 payments of $139. Okay? However, for all of you that enroll today, and we would love to have all of you as students, it's $49 to start. That's going to include your first month. That's going to include your down payment. It's going to include a uniform. And it's going to include uniforms for everybody in the family. And you guys didn't see it, but we also have a great adult program. So it's not $49, $49, $49. It's one payment of $49 that includes uniforms for everybody in the family. And then 11 payments of $129. That's what we tell them. Okay? Now, I'll go right into one of the most common questions that we get is, I want to get started and take advantage of the special, but my spouse isn't here. And so here's my response to that. Here's what I recommend. Go ahead, get started today. Come in for class next Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday with your spouse. Watch the class. If for any reason you guys don't want to do it, let us know. We'll refund you your $49 and cancel for whatever reason. But if you wait until Monday, it's $199 down, $139 a month for 12 months. Okay? At that time, I'll open for questions. I'll give one, maybe two questions. The first question is typically going to be about schedule. When can they come? I'll explain schedule. If time permits, I may also field one more question. If you're not ready for that, be careful. Because they go, is it a contract? And now you got to explain that in front of 25 parents. It's fine, but just be ready for the answer to that question. Okay? So we'll dismiss them. We'll let them know, hey, guys, again, thank you very much. Let's give these kids one more big round of applause, and we'll give them a big hand. The kids are running back with their boards in their hand, giving mom and dad a hug, and they're saying, what? I want to sign up and get my uniform. Okay? Now, at that time, we cue music. Whoop, music comes up because there's a little bit of dead space at that time. Because they're talking to their kids, really, are you serious? Do you want to do this? And then we get them lined up for pizza. Now, I know this happens in your school if you've done mass enrollments. You're kind of like, I wonder who's going to come talk to me. I wonder who's going to come and ask. That is not the right approach. We have a table set up with uniforms where for people that are ready to enroll and register, they come up and they'll enroll. However, the people that don't know, we got to approach them. And when we approach them, here's the approach. The approach is this. Hey, how you guys doing? Do you have any questions, or are you ready to get your uniform? Everyone say that. Do you have any questions? Or are you ready to get your uniform? It's not like, so, what'd you guys think? Do you guys want to enroll today? Right? And are you going to handle objections? Sure, you're going to handle objections, right? That's how and we could do a whole section just on mass enrollment. There's great video, by the way, on the site, so you guys can check it out there. I'll open up for questions. Questions, sir?
I just got a quick question. Did I hear you say $129 a month, giving everybody a uniform? Everybody, let's say a family of 6 or 8 for $129 a month.
No, what you heard was it's $49 to get started, and then for the whole family, uniforms for everybody, and then 11 payments of $129. You're going to approach me, and you're going to ask me the question. So is this what it is for the family? Because I don't want to confuse people, right? And I'm going to say, actually, here's how our family plan works. Give me an example of how your family plan works. Somebody. Okay, and I hear this. Well, it's just double the tuition, then everybody else comes for free. Well, don't say double. It's regular tuition for the first, regular tuition for the second. Everybody else trains for free in the basic program. Okay, good. We want to preface that because later on they'll pay extra, right, for Bible Club. So everyone else trains for free in the basic program. So that's what we do. So it's $258, right? So that's what we do for a family. It's $258. Everybody else trains for free in the basic program. Question?
Just to clarify, like on a normal program, you do the down payment, $199 is 12 payments, but you're saying $49 for the entire family and then 11 payments?
And 11 payments. So they save a payment and $10 a month. Now, truthfully, we're at the point right now where our school, we enrolled 43 students this month, right? And we're at the point where like, man, we just don't want to have that big. So you can do the discounted down payment and then do 11 payments of whatever your regular tuition is. Because guess what, crew? I don't care, because in 3 months, what's happening? I'm nominating for Black Belt Club. Does that make sense? So yes. One or two more questions? Sir?
How did you get phone numbers in the initial school talk? Do you have to do waivers to do the classes at the school?
Very good question. So on the Edge site, you guys will find these flyers already done. 3-week, 4-week flyers. There's a registration form on the bottom. Just be mindful, on the bottom it says like make checks payable to CMA or something like that. I put that on there so all the money comes to us. No, I'm saying, but be careful of that small line on the bottom. But it's all on there. It's a registration form with the kid, their age, their address, their email. Are they in aftercare? All that is right on that registration form. Yes?
Just want to let you know that this is an excellent presentation, and it's obvious you're coached by Metzger.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Devkin. Thank you. But you'll have to ask Metzger because he'll say, you missed some. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
One more question, guys, rest before that question. We're literally gonna have a 2-minute break because I'm coming up and I'm gonna rush through and I wanna make sure I get this info, but I'm gonna let you guys go a little early if you need to check out. Then we're gonna have lunch and then we'll be, one more, 2 more questions, go. Mr. Todd.
Sir.
My question is, we've done the mass enrollment, and I think timing is an issue. So listening to you, you're talking to the parents, your instructor is doing the huddle discussion with the kids, and you have a pizza over here. So we want the kids to go tell the parents, hey, it's something I want to do. Do you have them do that and then get the pizza?
We have them go back to the, yes, the question is timing-wise, do you have them go get the pizza, then go say they want to sign up? No, we don't do that. We actually send the kids right back to the parents, give them their boards, and we say, all right, kids, let's get lined up for pizza. That's how we take care of it.
Right after you're done telling the parents what type of.
Yep, let's give these kids one more big round of applause. They run to their parents to give them a hug, give them the board, give them a second. All right, let's get lined up for pizza, kids. That's what we do. Good question. Yes, Sean.
Do you think it's necessary to give them that 1 month, 11 instead of 12? Like if you pitch it right, can't you get that 12 month?
But why?
Because I like money instead of less money.
You'll
Like 12 is better than 11.
you'll enroll less students. It's just like asking for name, address, phone number on a form online. The more you ask for, the less you're going to get. Remember, our goal is to fill the funnel so we have the pond to fish from for our upgrade program. That's the goal. The 11 or 12, it could be 6 payments. It doesn't matter because in 3 months, I'm flipping them onto a 36-month program.
And real quick, guys, on this note, a mass intro is a mass intro. It's designed for quantity. All right, guys, come on in. Take your seats. You guys can get up here and do this too. You've been in it as long as I have. Huh? Not as well. That's just because I do it every hour. Hey guys, when you talk like that and we're about to speak, it makes us so nervous. And when you laugh at us like that, it makes us nervous. I don't get nervous. All right. Thank you. Thank you. It was that's what I was thinking when I put it on. All right. Hey, real quick, guys. Listen, there's been a lot of chit chat, and I possibly can hit this later. Can't hit it now, but there's been a lot of chit chat about upgrades and the process and how to build that kind of culture and how to do it. And by the way, I think 99% of us in here who've been doing upgrades for 20 years even still can improve, including all my still can improve. But if we don't get to that, you got to talk with your consultant, okay? But we may later, potentially, after lunch. But right now, we're going to talk about planning. We're going to talk about summer. How many of you do a summer camp? Raise your hand. Keep your hands up high. Take a look around. Now, how many of you do like a full-fledged summer camp, like full-day camps? Look, that's still a lot, right? Now, what if there was a way, now you guys, that's your thing, but what if there was a way to match the revenue or the profitability in the summer without doing these big camps? And I talked about this. Yeah, you would like that. We are out of time. It's time for lunch. Here's the thing, guys. I want you to know we've been doing summer camps and we've been doing after-school pickup for over 20 years. But over the last few years, I've been trying to convince my guys that it'll be okay. You're going to be okay without after-school pickup. So out of our 10 locations, we only have 3 schools now that do an after-school pickup. This summer, by choice, those 3 schools that do an after-school pickup, they want to still do their full-day summer camp. And I have one other school that does not do an after-school pickup, and they want to do a full-day summer camp. But that'll be 4 schools out of the 10 schools. Since we've gotten rid of after-school and summer, since we've been open since 1991, we've had record months, starting from last June when I said, this is it. And some of you remember this from last summer, but we're going to go over it again because as far as how to maximize revenue in the summer. But even though I'm not in the schools, even though I'm not running any camps, I'm compassionate and I feel so bad for my guys, you know. I just don't like them. I don't like seeing the camps. Like 7:30 in the morning they were going and kids would get picked up by 5:30 or 6. And it's just a nightmare. It's a liability in my mind. It puts wear and tear on the school. And then summer, well, let me ask you this. How many of you traditionally, like July or those months in the summer are lower revenue months for you in your school? Raise your hand. Okay, so probably 60%. But if you do have good months in the summer, you got to make it better. So there's 2 things we got to think about. So write this down just so it stays in your mind. So when you go back and read your notes, you can't type everything that I'm saying, of course, and this is all being recorded. If you want to go listen to this, man, that's awesome if you can do that. But write this down. 2 things in the summer. We got to think about enrollments, and we got to think about revenue. Enrollments and revenue. Okay? Now, for those of you who do camps, whether you do full-fledged camps or you do 4-hour camps or half-day camps or whatever, the next thing you got to do is you got to look at what you gross and then subtract all your expenses for running that thing. If I bring in $10,000 a month from summer camp, but it costs me $5,000 a month between transportation, snack, gas, field trips, payroll, blah, 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 then all I need to do is figure out how can I generate $5,000 in profit? Not 10. I don't want to match the revenue necessarily. I just want to match the profitability. Okay? You have to understand that.
first, okay? The next thing that you have to think about, and by the way, you got to think about this with spring break coming up for a lot of you. I mean, spring break is in March or April. Somebody told me that there is no spring break because of snow days and stuff, so they're not getting a spring break. But, what's that? Not in Florida. You're not getting, yeah, not here, yeah. We haven't had a big snowfall this winter. Here's the thing. You got to take advantage. You got to take advantage of the seasons. So what you need to be thinking about is, man, kids are out of school. Kids are out of school, and my school sits completely empty from 7 in the morning until 3 or 4 or whatever you do or start. Now, some of you say, well, no, I have a cage fitness class at 12. Okay, so from 12 to 12:30, something's going on in your school, but other than that, there's no revenue going on, okay? So we got to think about that. Where are all these kids? So then the next debate I heard was, yeah, but parents are working, and you know, if you try to do something early, aren't parents working? And I just said to somebody an hour ago, or whenever, I lose track of time at these things, but I said to somebody, I said, if you think all the parents are working, when you go back home on Monday, go to your local elementary school at dismissal time and see how many parents are at work. And watch the traffic you're sitting in from all the parents that are picking up their kids, because those parents are not at work. So we want to capitalize on that. So now we have to think, how can we maximize profitability? So let me give you some ideas. Now, the last objection I want to tell you, for those of you that work with me or that heard this last year, I've heard some of you say, well, you know, and I'll talk about it in a minute, the women's self-defense thing didn't do well for us. I'm going to give you an analogy. You guys heard me say this to all my clients because it's a true story, and I thought it was pretty powerful. It's just the way my brain works. I always look for things. But I bought and you heard this, but I bought my daughter a bicycle for Christmas. And I said, you know, it's about time. She's 19. I'm like, I got to teach her how to ride a bike. No, I'm kidding. She's 7. She's 7. And this was her first big bike without training wheels and everything else. So I said, all right, Kylie, we're going to go out and I'm going to teach you how to ride a bike. And this is honest truth. And I'm holding the handlebars, I'm holding the seat, and I said, okay, and she's all geared up. And we start going, and I'm like, as soon as I started going and holding it, I said to myself, I said, this is going to suck. I was like, I mean, I could just feel like, you know, like this is not going to, my back, I'm like, this is going to be forever, right? Because I felt the weight. I mean, I just felt, if I let go, it's just, she's going to plop over. So I'm holding her, I'm like, just try to balance, you know, try to balance. Then I would try to let go of the steering wheel, and I'd let go, and boom, she'd fall down. I said, let's go, you know, come on. Boom, she'd fall down. All right, let's do it again. Boom, she'd fall down. But what I started thinking about my other children, all of you. And I did, because I said, I was looking at this, I was saying, how is this like a learning experience in business? And I said to myself, she's fallen like 10 times. Why hasn't she gotten up yet and said, Dad, you got me a broken bike? She didn't say it once, because she knew she was the one that was broken, not the bike. But the bike wasn't working, but she knew it was her. She had to keep adjusting her, not the bike. So when you guys tell me something didn't work for you, it works. The bike works. You got to keep making adjustments. And by the way, I have a video if you'd like to see it. I love to show off my kids. But 20 minutes. 20 minutes it took her. It took her 20 minutes, and then she was able to ride. But when she rode, and I videotaped it, so I just sent it to my wife, like while I was outside, because my wife was still in the house. And I wanted to see my wife and how quickly she was able to ride a bike. But when she started riding, guys, here's what it looked like. Like she was doing this with the handlebars just to keep her balance. Well, that's what you're going to do when you first try stuff. And then I told her, I said, Kylie, I said, just wait. Someday you're going to be able to ride the bike with no hands. you'll be able to ride it. She's like, without holding on? I said, yeah, you'll be able to ride the bike with no hands. And you all know that, right? You guys will be able to do this with no hands, with no thinking. It'll be second nature. But you can't try something, it doesn't work, and then say, yeah, that didn't work for us. And just move on, or you'll never be successful. You'll never maximize your success. Thank you. Well, Beard, thank you. Thank you. Hey, and just by the way, if I knew that all I had to do was say something profound and Beard was leaving, I would have said it yesterday. It's funny, the mumbles in here. You guys have no idea how we rag each other in the back, guys. But no, I appreciate that. And by the way, what Mr. Beard did is something we used to do years and years and years ago. If one of us got up here and said something that we thought was powerful, we'd stand up and say, that's profound, so you guys can remember it. So it sticks in, and I appreciate it. But I thought the story and the true story, and that's how I was thinking. But you guys, you give up too easy sometimes. And we all hear it. Oh, that doesn't work here. That doesn't work for me. Oh, the people are different here. You're different. That's it. So with that said, let's talk about summer, okay? So number one, I told my staff last month, because I literally said to Silverman, I said, Silverman, I said, we're going to get out of these camps. I said, and by the way, let me just give you a perspective. We got 10 locations. Our July, for 20 years, has been the worst month for us ever. Ever. It's always the worst. And when I say the worst, our July would be over $100,000 down from any other months. How would you like to take a $100,000 hit in a month, right? It is horrible. I said, Silverman, every summer, in January, I say to our assistant, some of you have been to our office, you know Miss Humphrey, I said, in January, every year, I say, hey, you got to start putting money in savings so we can carry ourselves through summer. And I told her that last January. And then as we got to April or whatever it was, I said, you know what? I said to Silverman, I said, I'm tired of going through these summers, man. I said, I'm going to make a change. We're going to change this. I said, we're going to change it. Well, June was a record June. July was a record July. Not only was July a record July, July was our third best month of the year. That was an increase of maybe $160,000 from what July typically is, okay? So here's what we did. I said to my staff, I got them together, I said, guys, number one, you guys are going to do a free. Now, you can do whatever you want. Use your imagination. Don't be black and white. You could do an active gun seminar. You could do a self-defense seminar. You could do a get in shape seminar. I mean, it doesn't matter. But I said, guys, here's what you're going to do. In May, you're going to do a free 90-minute women's self-defense seminar. Free. I said, you're going to start with the parents. You're going to give them passes, and you're going to say, guys, invite your coworkers. We're doing a free women's self-defense seminar for all the women in the community. You could call it a fitness and self-defense seminar, get in shape, women in fitness and self-defense seminar, free for everyone in the community, you know, and like Mr. Silverman just told you how to build rapport, if you're yapping and making announcements, they're not listening. You go up to them and you say, you know, hey, Miss Paul, listen, do you have some friends? I want to invite you to our free women's self-defense seminar. It's 90 minutes, it's free, it's for non-martial artists. Can I give you 3, and watch this. What are you going to say if I walk up to you and I say, hey, can I give you 3 passes? Will you give these out to some of your coworkers and we'll have a lot of fun? Come to the free women's self-defense seminar. You're not going to say no. You may not go out and pass them out, but you're not going to say no. You're going to say, sure, I will. And I have a much better chance now. You're going to come to my free seminar. So I said, guys, we're going to do this in May. At the end of that, we're going to do a quasi-mass intro. Now, adults, a lot of adults, if they're not thinking about it, it's easier, I believe, it's much easier to get kids enrolled in martial arts than it is adults, okay? Doesn't mean you can't get 100,000 adults, but it's just easier to get kids. So I said, we're going to do a mass intro with them. When they come to the seminar, but I said, we're not going to try to sign them up on a 1-year karate uniform now and start doing karate. So I said, at the end, we're going to tell them how fun this was. You know, and I told them, I want their cheeks to be red. So I want them to work out a little bit. I don't want them dripping in sweat, but I want them, you know, a little red, a little warm, and I want them to feel empowered. and make sure you do a lot of partner stuff and make sure you rotate them. Because if I come with my friend and I just work with my friend's not going to do it, so I may not do it. So I want everybody to become friends. So I'm going to rotate them. You know, you guys work. If you don't know each other, introduce yourselves, you know. And I want them laughing. I want them having fun. I want them to feel empowered. I want to see that they got a little workout. And I'm going to say, guys, we had a lot of fun today. You guys did awesome. We had fun. Did you guys have fun doing that? And they're going to say yes. I'm going to say, you know what? We were thinking about it as we were talking to people this week, because you call everybody and confirm, because it's a free seminar. So we called everyone that week. I said, as we were talking to you guys this week, we started thinking, you know, this is going to be a fun class. What can we do to keep this group together? So we want to offer you guys an 8-week summer self-defense series. And it's on our website. The flyer's done for you. An 8-week summer self-defense series for only $199. But if you guys, because you came to our free event, we'll give it to you at a discount. Now, I say discount because I told my guys, do it for $149. Some of my guys came to me and said, hey, can we do it for $129? I said, yeah, do it for $129. I said, are you more comfortable and confident with $129? They said, yeah. I said, then do $129. Why? We've never done this before. So I said, do $129. So think about this a minute. It's 8 weeks. Now, remember that number. You got to figure out what number do we have to make up in the summer. 8 weeks is 2 months. If I got only, and by the way, this 8-week summer self-defense seminar is 1 hour a week, 1 day a week. 1 day a week for 1 hour. Whatever day you want. Saturday morning, Friday night, Monday, Wednesday, whenever you want. 1 hour a week for 8 weeks. If I got 10 people at $150, I just made $1,500 for an hour a week for 8 weeks, which breaks down to, well, there's $750 a month in pure profit. There's no expense to run that. There's no expense. So I just got, out of my $5,000 nut, in this example, I just reduced that by $750, and that's if I only get 10 women. And some of you called me. You said to me, you're saying, hey, we only have like 8 people signed up. Should we do it? Is that time versus effort versus reward? Is it worth an extra 60 minutes a week for you to make an extra $1,200? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Right? So that's number one. Number two, it's May. Schools are getting out. Tassel said it. I tell you it on the phone. We're constantly trying to become partners in ed with the school systems. And what are we constantly doing with the schools? Trying to go after their kids. Trying to go after their kids. Trying to go after their kids. PE class, 4-week courses, school talks, going after their kids. It's the end of the school year. Your contact now at the school, hey, just want to let you know, it's been an awesome year. We loved working with you guys, but you know what? We have a free 90-minute women's self-defense seminar that I would like to offer to all your faculty and staff for being a great partner. Is there any way you can get this out to all your teachers? See if your teachers would be interested in doing a free 90-minute women's, only self-defense seminar. It's something we'd like to do with all your faculty and staff members on no charge at all. Will you get this to all your teachers? Well, when you have that relationship, forget the kids now for a minute. I want to do something nice for the teachers. It's a free 90-minute seminar. If you can't get 20 people, really, if you can't get 20 people, you're not marketing enough. All I told you right now is your parents in your school and the teachers. Use your imagination. I don't want to spend the whole thing. You your leads. If an 8-year-old kid signs up at your school in May and mom signs them up, you say, hey, Mom, by the way, I want to let you know, we're doing a free women's only self-defense seminar. Here's 3 passes. Would love to invite you. Do you have some friends? Now, here, I'm doing it automatically, and I'm not pointing it out to you. Notice how automatically I don't say, we're doing a free women's self-defense seminar. It's a 90-minute. You don't have to have martial arts experience. It's women only. Here's some passes. Would love to see if you're interested in coming to that. It'd be great. Here's some passes. I always ask a question. Do you think you would want to come down and do that with maybe some coworkers or friends? Have you ever done a self-defense? Now, like they might just do this, but my key is, and I taught you this when we talked about it, if you remember, but I said to engage them on the phone or in person, ask the question, have you ever done a self-defense seminar before? Yeah, I did one in college, or yeah, I did one. Oh, there's so much fun. We're going to have fun, and we're going to do a little fitness in there. We're going to do this. How would you be able to make it? Maybe, do you have some friends that maybe that might be interested in coming with you? Or if they say, no, I've never done it. Oh, it's great. We're going to teach you some techniques that could save your life if you're ever in a situation. We're going to do a little fitness. It's a 90-minute deal. It's free. That's how you get that engaged. So number one, free seminar, mass intro. Then you do an 8-week summer self-defense series. By the way, I keep saying women. You can do men and women. You can do whatever, okay? So self-defense, 8 weeks. 1 day a week, charge whatever you want. If you charge $199 and you get 10 people, you just made $1,000 a month, okay? Next, kids are out of school. So the next thing I told you to do is let's say your first class of the day starts at 5 o'clock. Let's say it starts at 4:30. I don't know, but make it easy. If your first class of the day starts at 5, 1 day a week at 3:30, every Wednesday at 3:30, we're going to do a mini seminar. A mini seminar. It's a 90-minute seminar at 3:30. Now, this is where the thing came up, well, aren't parents at work? Yeah, a lot of parents are, and a lot of parents aren't. 1 day a week at 3:30, we're going to do a mini seminar, and every week's going to have a different theme. The week of June blank, on Wednesday at 3:30, it's going to be on MMA. The next week, it's going to be on grappling. The next week, it's going to be on bow staff. The next week, it's going to be on nunchucks. The next week, it's going to be on kicks and tricks. I mean, you come up with themes. You could charge, there's 8 weeks. There's 10 weeks in the summer, but maybe you only do 8. I'm using the 8 because I could break it down into 2 months, okay? So there's 8 weeks. So there's 8 seminars. I could charge $20 or $25. Let's just say $20. It's $20. You can pick whichever seminar you want to come to, or $99 for the entire summer. $99 for the whole summer. Now again, some people said, well, gosh, I only have 5 people that signed up for this. Should we do it? Well, that's $500 for an extra class you're going to teach once a week. And that's up to you. Maybe it's not worth the extra $250. But that's with 5 kids at $99. You get 10 kids at $99, you just generated another $1,000. So now I was at $750, now I add $500, now I'm at $1,250 a month that I just made up. For what? Teaching 2 classes. 2 extra classes a week. Now I got $1,250 a month in profit. Now the big one. Here's the big one. I said, and I came up with this last year also to help my guys sell it. I said, guys, you know what? Now I'm going to give you a secret because we've changed things. We used to sell private lessons in one, you could buy 1, you could buy 3, you could buy 6, or you could buy 12. 1, 3, 6, or 12. And in the past, if you bought 12 private lessons, it came out to $30 a lesson if you bought 12. Okay? But I changed it. What I did last summer was I said, we're only offering this to 6 people. If I told this whole room that we're going to do something where you're going to have me, Mr. Tassel, Mr. Parman, Mr. Beard, and Mr. Silverman all on the phone specifically geared for you, and we're going to do that 8 times, you're going to get 8 phone calls over the summer, but I can only take the first 6. That's it. We're only taking 6 people, and it's $500. I bet you people would probably be climbing over each other probably. I mean, if I said I'm only taking 6, that's what we did in our school. Said we're only doing 6. We're only taking 6 people, guys, because we don't have the time to do more. Okay, we're only taking 6 people. So here's what I learned though. After the summer, I changed my private lessons. You could buy 1. You can always buy 1 at a time, right? Or you got to buy 10, 20, or 40. And I got that from Mr. Levy, by the way. Mr. Levy used to sell private lessons in 50 packs. And can I just throw out the number? Mr. Levy was bringing in about $20,000 to $25,000 a month just in private lesson packages. And when I was sitting there selling 12. I was like, I don't even see this on the like numbers. Like, it's like doesn't do anything. So I said to my guys, they only sold 12. I said, in the summer, we're going to sell a 16-pack. That's twice a week for 8 weeks. 2 private lessons, 2 30-minute privates a week for 8 weeks. It's a 16-pack. And you could do that at $30 a lesson, which I think was $480, if somebody wants to check that. But let's just pretend it's $480. I think that's what it came out to. The problem is people were getting that at 12. Yeah, I got it. I got 3 minutes, man, and man, I have a lot for you guys. But I will not let you have lunch, and I will stay here for you, okay? So listen, when I went to 120, 10, 20, 40, the only way to get your private lessons at $30 a lesson in my school today is you buy 40. But now, for the summer, I'm only taking 6 people. You can buy a 16-pack, take your child's martial arts to another level over the summer by getting 2 private lessons a week at the 40-pack rate. There's a value there. And what I did was I put them in themes. I said, you can choose one of 4 themes. You can choose our weapons private lesson package, our curriculum private lesson package, our sparring private lesson package, or our combo package, which your child will get private lessons in each of those areas. If you just want your child to brush up on their curriculum and be sharp, buy our curriculum package. You're going to get 16 privates just on curriculum. You want your child to be more proficient in the weapons, your child's a little soft, needs a little bit more in the sparring, we can do a whole summer on sparring and take their sparring to another level. $480, let's call it $500. 500 times 6 of these lessons is $3,000. And I said to my guys, I said, what do you think? And my guys at first were like, they said, like, okay, 6 30-minute privates. So that's going to be an extra 6 hours a week because it's 2 30-minute privates times 6 people. And they said, so we'll do 6 hours. I said, yeah, you'll do 6 hours. You could do like an extra 2 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Wednesday, 2 hours on Friday if you want. I said, but listen, it's totally up to you guys. I go, what time do you guys get in for work? They said, well, we're in by noon, you know. Some of them tell me they're late, but we're in by noon. I said, hey, guys, no problem, because now that we're not having summer camp, if you don't want to teach a private lesson, I have plenty of flyers. It's the middle of July in Orlando. Do you want to go out and flyer for 2 hours or 6 hours a week, or do you want to teach a private lesson to a student? Teach a private lesson. I said, that's what I thought, right? That's what I thought. So now I'm at $1,250. Now I add another $1,500 to that. And the last thing I'm going to tell you, just because of time, and then I'll take questions after lunch and during lunch and after the seminar. I'll stick around for a little bit. Is a mini camp. You can do like a 1 week a month. 1 week in June, 1 week in July, 1 week in August, where you go 8 a.m. till noon, or you can do 12 to 4. I know that's what a lot of people do, but you could charge $99 per kid, $149 per kid, $129 per kid, and just do 1 week, 4 hours, a specific theme on that camp, and you get, I'm using the lowest numbers possible. You get 10 kids doing that at $99. That's $1,000 in June, $1,000 in July, $1,000 in August. That's another $3,000. Do you see how you can take advantage of this? And then the last thing, I know real quick, because I said revenue and enrollments. All I talked about was revenue. Enrollments, you guys need to start now. I've told you this. Don't program yourself that it's too much work. You need to start next week contacting all the daycares, anyone in your area that's going to be running summer camps. Go in person. Do not call, do not text, do not email. Go down in person. Tell them how you're a partner with the school system. Say, I know you guys are going to be running a summer camp. Would you have any interest in having one of our instructors come and do a 4-week character education program in the summertime for all your summer campers? By the way, we can do it for free, and you could advertise that you're now going to offer karate as part of your camp to make that more value for you, or we can charge and split it, however you want to do it. Excuse me. But we'll come in once a week. You know, we'll start in the middle of June, or whenever you want to start. We'll do once a week for 4 weeks, and then we'll have a little graduation for these kids. Then you should have paid attention to tassel, because then you have a big mass intro. Now you're getting massive influx of students. And by the way, you don't do one daycare. You do 3, 4, or 5 daycares, and that's 1 hour a week for 4 weeks. And now you sign up 10, 15, 20 people in these bad summer months. Guys, I say it every time. Don't lose your voice, Mike. Don't lose your voice. And I'm screaming at you guys all the time. Anyway, here's the deal. Go. If you need, you can leave your stuff here if you need to. Make sure you get checked out of your room. We're having lunch where we had breakfast. We're starting promptly at 1 o'clock in here. Great job, guys. Okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. Mr. Parman is in the back. So is everybody else, but Mr. Parman's in the back. Yeah, very good. Are you happy that he's in the back and not up here, or are you happy? Oh. Here, staff members, employees are going to go with Mr. Parman, and you're going to follow Mr. Parman. Mr. Parman, you know the room? Right past, yes, right past the restrooms. So all employees and staff, go with Mr. Parman. All employees and staff, because it's just rude for me to talk about you while you're still in this room. Owners need to stay here. Owners here, staff there. What happened? Don't put your finger in the trigger. Yeah, I moved on. You're going to live. Okay, let's try again. What happened? My wife says the same thing about me. That's how bad my ADD is. It is. But I love the world I live in. It just, everything moves so quick. No, she really does. She says the same thing. And by the way, it's just different when you have like 100 people staring at you. Here, come here. All right. Are we good? You've been warned. Staff is out. Okie dokie. All right, guys. So listen, let's cover some basics and review the philosophy and the understanding, okay? Couple things, and then I'm going to take some questions. I know Master Hayes asked me a great question, and I'm going to reiterate it because it was a great question about staff. And everybody, let me ask you this. Raise your hand, and when I say staff challenges, it may be can't find enough staff, don't have the right staff, it's hard to keep staff, whatever. Raise your hand if you have staff challenges. Yeah, that's 100%, I think, you know? All right, here's the thing. Depending on your goals for your business, you have to understand that you cannot maximize your success without staff. It is impossible because you can only do so much. You have to understand that, number one. And the reason why I state the obvious is because staffing and training and retaining and trusting and depending on will be an issue that will never, ever go away. I'm very sorry that I said that. But it's true. It will never end. It will never end, okay? And because of that, and because of the challenges, and because you've been burned by staff, sometimes we throw our hands up in the air and we just say, you know what? I know a lot of people like this. I'm just going to do it myself. You know, I'm just going to do it, you know? And the problem with that is you're going to do it until you decide you can't do it anymore or won't do it. Okay? And then, if you're in the wealth seminar, you know, that's an issue. When the money train stops, it's an issue, okay? Staff to be, first of all, you know this, groomed from within as our first choice. Here's the first question you got to ask yourself, because here's what most of you say. God, I have this awesome 12-year-old. I just can't wait till he's 16, 17, 18, right? My staff's just too young. Or my adults, one's an ophthalmologist, one's a scientist, one's a doctor, one's a this, one's a that. But here's the question you have to ask yourself, and as a professional business owner, what do you have in place right now to paint the picture for any students in your school to take the pathway to becoming a staff member? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. Some of you said, well, we have a leadership team. But do you wing it? Is the leadership team like 1, 2, that's how you hold a pad? Is it just teaching them how to teach a class? Is it teaching them the whole dynamics? How long is your leadership program? What happens at the end? Is it ongoing? Is there really a path? Is there a different uniform? Is there a different patch? What's something that will retain these 12-year-olds that eventually quit? Number one. Or what does it for the 12-year-old? And by the way, don't take this out of context. But what does it for the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old to know that there is a career in martial arts before they decide they're going off to college because they want to be a school teacher or a nurse or whatever? You know why? You guys take for granted from the glasses you're looking through, and you don't understand that from a student's perspective, they don't see the future. They don't see career. They don't see that they can make 60, 70, 80, 6 figures. Is there anybody in here that has a staff member that makes 6 figures or more? Mr. Silverman's raised. Oh, who's that? Beard? That's Beard. And so do we. We have a team member that's making the 6 figures, right? Over 100? Yeah. And several that are making close, right? And close to it. But it all depends on different things. But here's the thing. Don't raise your hand. But there's owners in here that don't make that. There's owners in here that don't make that. But you got to start painting a picture for a career path for even your little assistant who's going to be on board with you. And you got to paint that picture just like you paint a picture for a student about getting their black belt someday. And then if you're on our team, the My Elite team, well, that's our job to help you create that career path and be honest and make it happen for these people. People ask us, like, why do you have 10 schools? Why did you set out to? We never sought out to open 10 schools. We just had a crop of people that said, I want the opportunity. They saw from the first instructor. For me, it was Nick Peterman. My guy Nick, and I say his name because a lot of you know him, right? But he started with me when he was like 13 working for me. And then he's been doing martial arts. I've been doing martial arts with him since he was 9 years old. And he made it clear. He's like, when I go to college, I'm going to take a break from the martial arts because I want to see, I don't know anything else. I've never done anything else. And he got a degree in business management. And he stayed on part-time in college as he was going to college. And he interned, I think I want to say Burdines or some department store, like in the retail sector, one of the retail things or whatever. And he was like, man, I hated that, And I said to him, hey, you said you wanted to be in the real world and you want to get into business. And this is the conversation you need to have, because I'm going to give you 2 examples just to paint the picture. I said, what do you think this is? I said, what do you think this is? I said, this is a business. And I said, I will show you how you can make a career in something that you're gifted at. And by the way, then he decided, all right, after college, I want to come on full time. And he started salary. Well, it wasn't a year or 2 years after that he started saying, hey, don't you love this when the staff member comes to you and says, hey, I need to talk to you, but, it's not, whenever you get a minute, I just need to talk to you. Or they'll call you and just, it's Saturday night and say, hey, I really want to know if I can get some time with you next week. I need to talk to you. Like, you're like, well, we're talking now, okay? We're talking right now. And I can't stand it. But what he said was, and it happened several times, he's like, he has a girlfriend now. He's like, and his girlfriend now is his wife. And he's like, I don't know. Like, I've been doing this for so long. I just don't, I think about it. Can I work till 9:30 every night, 9 o'clock every night, and not get home till 10? And my girlfriend, if when we get married, she's saying, are you ever going to be home to have dinner? Are you going to, And I said, first of all, this is how I learned. And I said before I thought, but if I say something, I'm going to do it. It's just the way I am. So I didn't think this through. I said, listen to me. I go, you got to trust me. I said, and this is where I came up with my quote, and I think it's mine, but you can Google it. Maybe I read it somewhere, but I used it, and I've been saying it so long I don't even know. Maybe it was the great Frank Silverman that said it once. I don't know. No, no. But I said, listen to me. You got to trust me, because if you can sacrifice today for the rewards of tomorrow, I said, I will take care of you. I said, right now, yeah, you're working till 9. I said, but here's the vision. Here's what I have in mind for you. I said, develop a team, let them come up under you, and then I'm going to pay you more money than you're making now. And by the way, I was honest with him. I used to say, right now, listen to me, I'm going to be honest. I'm overworking and underpaying you right now. I said, because I don't have any, I'm doing as much as I can, and right now, you're overworked and you're underpaid. And then I said, but if you could sacrifice today for the rewards of tomorrow, I promise you, there will come a time where I will overpay you and underwork you. And he goes, he's like, I don't understand. And I'm thinking to myself, shit, I don't understand what I said either. I mean, I'm thinking, I remember, I'm thinking you don't understand? No. Always ask a question. What do you mean you don't understand? No. I said to him, because listen, I said, you see the hair? I said, you see the stress? I said, here's what I want. You build up your team. You make sure your school's hitting the numbers, doing what it's supposed to do, but you're in charge of building that team. And my district manager, Miss LaBeouf, hates when I use this example, and I still say it today. And I said to him, he was the first one I ever said it to, and I said, I don't care if you work from Hawaii. I said, if you work from Hawaii and your team and you're overseeing the school and your school's hitting their goals, I don't care when you come in. I said, I don't care. And I said, because I'm going to pay you for responsibility. I said, but if you're ever on vacation and one of your guys can't be there, I go, you got to come back from vacation. I said, now that's not going to happen very often, if ever. I said, but that's the give and the take. So I promise you, I will give you your flexibility. You can leave early if you need to leave early, and you can, whatever you need to do, as long as your school's performing. And he says, you know what? It makes sense. And so I got him. He got motivated again. Well, this is a true story. I gave him an assistant instructor. They were horrible. It didn't work. And he was like, I can't have it. After months, got somebody else in there to work with him, a program director. They quit. Got him another assistant. He fired the assistant. I'm sorry, did you ask why? Oh, let me tell you why. This is back in the day when he had an after-school pickup program. And this guy, I say guy, he was probably 20, kid, 20 years old. The after-schoolers, like the little girls and stuff, I mean, I don't know if Silverman even knows this. He was drawing little, with pen, tattoos around their belly button, And Peterman's I come in and Peterman's he's out. He's out. He goes, and Peterman said this to me. He goes, I don't care if I have to teach every class, sign everyone up, do everything. He's gone. He's out. And so that didn't work. So when you keep seeing that, I get a call. Hey, if you have time, can I talk to you? It's been a year and a half, 2 years later now. What's up? Man, it's just like, it just seems like I'm just going in a circle. It's like, I know, I see the vision and stuff, but it's like, no, the assistants, it doesn't work. Like, they can't stay, or they're morons. He goes, he says, they're like freaking morons, That's what he said. He's like, and I just feel like I'm just in this circle. Like, I'm never going to get there. I said, Nick, the reason why people are successful is because it's never easy. It's never easy. I said, just hang in there. We'll find somebody that will fit. And that's when I pulled Ben Wally, Obeda Ben Wally, who's been my student since he was 11. I say that because a lot of you know him. And I pulled him out of my Curry Ford school. And I said, Obeda, I want you to be with Peterman in Avalon and assist him. He's like, Avalon? I can't work in that yuppie place. That's what he said. He goes, they're not going to like me in Avalon. I said, they're going to love you in Avalon. You'll be fine. And he said to me, he's like, hey, he was going to go to school for engineering, Obeda. And he's like, hey, if I can make a career, I'd like to maybe do something if there's a career. He said, if you ever have, now he's at Avalon. I moved him at Avalon. And Nick is like, oh my gosh, we just can read each other. We don't even have to speak. He knows how to take over. He knows how to do this. And now Nick started seeing the light. Started finally seeing the light. And Obeda said to me, he's like, hey, if we're ever going to open another location, I'd love the opportunity because I know that there's only so much growth because this is Nick's school. This is Nick's school. I said, okay. I said, I'll keep that in mind. About a year went by, and my point in the stories here is painting a picture. I will do whatever I need to paint to keep my team, right? So about a year and a half went by, and I called Obeda up to the office, and I said, hey, we have an opportunity. We're going to open up a new school, and I want to send you out there, and you can start your school. He's like, I can't leave my team. I go, this is Yuppieville. I go, what do you mean? He's like, we just work so good. This is my team. These are my students. He goes, I know that I might not grow as fast being here, but I'm going to stay with my team. I said, then you know what? I'm going to make sure I can find a way to make sure you get growth too. And he decided he wanted to stay. And so onward we go, and, Ben Wally is the head instructor. Now, Peterman, for the last years, okay, he set his own schedule. And he only worked 2 nights a week. He worked till 9 on Mondays and Thursdays. And that's how he works now, Mondays and Thursdays. And he's part-time now. That's a whole different story on why. But he didn't want to leave, and he didn't want to stop teaching the same classes he's been teaching for 8 years. But on the days that he didn't work that late, he would come in. I never told him he had to do it. But he'd come in at 9 a.m., and he'd work till 5. And he would, get everything organized. He would meet with schools. He would do this. And he still, does... You wouldn't know the difference if you come to the school. You wouldn't know the difference. He teaches in Instructor College Tuesday mornings, Cage Fitness Tuesday mornings. He volunteers on the SAC committee for CMA and is in the schools. I mean, there's no difference, except that I'm saving a lot of money. But my point is he created that. He created that position because I allowed him to. And I painted him a picture. Because none of you, until you're 65 or 70, want to work till 9 o'clock at night every single night. Which means neither does any one of your staff members. If you have 20-year-olds and 25-year-olds, you think that that's not going to be a problem? Wait till they're married, then wait till they have kids, and then wait till they do it for 10 years or whatever. Eventually, it will be a problem. And if there's not a corporate ladder or a corporate structure, they're going to move on. And you know when they're going to move on? At the most inconvenient time. That's when they're going to move on. So that whole spiel, number one, you have to have a corporate ladder. Hence why I said we opened 10 schools. I had all these black belts. Let's open another school. You want to run a school? Let's open a school. You can run a school. Because if I didn't provide career opportunities for these people, you would have. My competitors would have. Or they just would have gotten out of the field. So I wanted to provide opportunities. But we did it strategically. So If you're doing a school and you're grossing 13 grand a month and you have a black belt, don't go open a second school. You're not ready yet, okay? So put that in context, but that was a corporate ladder. I had at one point one school, and I had Nick Peterman, David Rodriguez, Ramon de la Cruz, like these are high-level, top-notch instructors, all under one roof. And I opened my second and third school at the same time, as far as signing the lease. I said, Dave, you're getting a school. Ramon, you're getting a school. Nick, you're getting a school. Because I had to, or they were going to go there. I could not, there was no more growth opportunity for them, all under one roof. I couldn't support those three guys, plus assistants, which leads me to my second thing. The reason, once you get past the first barrier, I got to find staff. I'm going to look within. Well, I don't have any within. Well, then I ask myself the question, what am I doing to paint a picture for my students to let them know that you can make a phenomenal living in the martial arts? You got to do that. Got to paint that picture and let your students know that. Okay? The next thing is okay, I still don't have anybody. You got to look outside. And this is where everybody gets the sour taste. You can't find somebody outside. Let me tell you something. If Nick Peterman happened to move into your area and walked in and said, hey, I just moved here and I'm looking for an instructor position, are you going to say, we don't hire outside? You know, you're going to hire them. And by the way, your school's going to grow if you do. I mean, so they're out there. They're out there. But what do I tell you? Who works with me? What do I say about looking for someone? What's the rule? What do I say? Always. Always. That means right now, if we had the time and it wasn't so boring, I should pull up Craigslist, Indeed.com, Monsters, whatever, and I should see an ad out there for every school in here looking for staff. Whether you have enough staff or you don't stop looking. How often do you stop looking for a new student? You have raise your hand if you have students. So you have students. How often do you look for your next student? Why? Because you need students to grow, right? You need staff to grow too. You're always looking because they are so hard to find. Great ones are so hard to find. Thanks, Ms. Susko. We'll catch up. Great ones are so hard to find that you got to keep it out there all the time. There's no obligation. And then somebody says, well, it's expensive. What is it, $150, $200, or whatever it is? The investment is unbelievable when you find that great staff member, okay? But you got to do interviews because you cannot start looking for somebody when you need them. You can't. It might take you 6 months, and then you know what you do, and you know why you have a bad taste in your mouth? Because you end up settling because you're desperate. And I call that being held hostage by your staff. You're being held hostage. And by the way, your staff knows. I've been there. There's been times, and I'm sure you know, where your head instructor or your head program director knows you couldn't survive without them. And there's nobody there to take their spot. And so what are you going to do if they come in late? What are you going to do? Really, what are you going to do? You need them. And now you're being held hostage, and that disrupts your whole corporate structure. It disrupts your philosophy. It disrupts the way you run business. So you've got to have bench strength. Bench strength is an insurance policy. You pay for it and hope you don't ever need it. But when you do, it's there. And there's no disruption in business. Guys, and I always use the analogy. NBA, there's 5 guys on the court. How great would the next NBA team be if they only had 5 players on their team? They wouldn't be a team. I mean, they wouldn't make it. They would be the last. They would be last. They may not even win a game. Those guys sitting on the bench are waiting to take their spot, which makes these guys work hard because they know if they don't, this guy's coming in. Peyton Manning, one of the best quarterbacks ever. You know, he got benched, right? He was injured. He was off. Peyton, you're out. You're in. It's like, you can't, I mean, he had to be, he's the nicest guy on the camera. He's had to be thinking like, I'm Peyton Manning, you know? Doesn't matter. You're not cutting it. I don't care who you are. Just like somebody saying, sir, I've been with you for 20 years. That's correct, you have. You're the assistant now. And I'm going to build you up, and we're going to get back on track. or you can leave. Raise your hand if I just told you what I did last week. Okay, I just told you, because you guys were at my office. They came to my school. I did this with one of my top guys. He got too comfortable, and he believed he couldn't be replaced. And now he's coming in an hour early every day. So one of two things was going to happen. He was going to get in shape, or I even said to my 2 district managers, I said, are you prepared if he quits? Mr. Todd, where are you? You went and visited that school. And before you even knew this story, you came to me and said, don't mention names. Wow, that is a top-notch instructor. He is on the ball. He is one of the best instructors. Didn't you say that? High energy, by himself, right? And then I said, that's funny, he was almost let go. He's saying he upgraded kids. He had like 3 or 4 new kids. He was on it. Because he's capable, but he got too comfortable, and he thought he was irreplaceable. And if your people feel that way, your numbers are going to go down. Because they think they can just coast and keep collecting a paycheck. It's human. I mean, a lot of people are that way, are human. It's just human. If I know I can do this and it's going to be, I'm comfortable. I got everything I need. I'm making what I want. I'm there. It can be detrimental to the business. So you got to have a structure to get students to instructors. Outside, looking from the outside always. Because if you find somebody and you don't need them, and somebody like any one of my guys, all my guys are great. It's just, can they continue to be great and not be comfortable? But if you put an ad out and somebody great walks in, you have to find a way to hire them, whether you need them or not. You got to find a way to hire them. And if you hire them and you see after about 4, 5, 6 months and you get to know them and you really understand they are there, they're committed, then maybe that's your ticket to the second school. But we got to hire an assistant instructor just in case, I mean, and that's how you grow. But maybe they're so awesome, what happens is when you bring somebody awesome in, everyone else elevates. Everyone gets nervous. And if somebody leaves, you got somebody great. So if somebody great walks through your door, you got to hire them because they're so hard to find, okay? Then you got to retain them. You got to retain them by painting that picture. And really, it's not just painting a picture, it's having that corporate structure. If you have one location, that's okay. But your superstar, who is the person that's going to make your life easier? You got to tell them how you're going to make their life easier. The jobs go in tandem. Your job is to make me as successful as you can. My job is to make you as successful as you can. That's our jobs. Your superstar, if you have one location, with 10 it's easy because I can say you're an assistant instructor, you're a head instructor, you're managing, you're a district instructor, you're overseeing. 10 schools. When you have one, Nick Peterman only was responsible for one, Avalon, and I did it with him. Develop your team, train your team. He would take the team out to lunch. He would get bonuses and he would give his team out of his pocket money. Because he knew that if they got motivated, it was going to make him money. He did that without me knowing it. He would pay them. He understands the concept. But you have to have a structure there to keep your people. Training now. Training your staff. So what's the most important thing? Whether it's an instructor or a program director. The most important thing is presentation. Presentation is the most important thing. Are they presentable? Are they walking in with ripped jeans or jeans hanging off their butts, or like for a job interview? Or is that the person that's your student? Presentation. That's the first thing. Okay? The second thing is personality. So we didn't even get into training yet. I need to know that you have a great personality. And then the third thing, and if they're your student, you kind of know this. If you hire from outside, one of the only things that I look at is your job history. Because I want to know if you bounce around or if you stayed at a place for 3-4 years. But if I see your job history and you were here for 3 months, you were here for 6 months, you were here for 8 months, you were here for 2 months, you guys know we're in a customer service business. If I hire you and get all my families and students attached to you and you leave, it rocks the business a little bit, especially if you're an instructor. So that's a red flag for me, job history. Okay? So you got to look at all that. If all that is good, people ask me, they say, well, what do you ask in an interview? First of all, I just want to have a conversation. How do I feel talking to this person? Because this person's going to be talking to my customers. Then I say, what are your goals? Where do you want to see? What do you want out of a career? 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And here's the key thing, write this down. Are they looking for a job or are they looking for a career? If you're looking for a job, I'm not interested. And I always say the analogy, I'm not going to date someone unless I think I can marry them. Because it's going to come to an end. Why would I date somebody if I'm never going to marry them? I mean, how long am I going to date you? I mean, eventually I'm going to stop dating you if I know I'm never going to marry you. I don't want to have somebody that just, I'm a stepping stone. Unless that's the role. Unless it's a part-time assistant instructor, I want to do this while I go through college for the next 4 years. Great, that's enough time for me to change your mind. But education's important. You guys, education is important. I just believe I can give you a better education. Kidding. You guys aren't laughing? That's a little weird. But the thing is I only change people's minds by showing them what we can provide. And they change their own minds. If somebody's passionate, by the way, the eye doctors, everything else, Silverman will tell you. Silverman, have you ever had somebody that took a massive pay cut because they just wanted to be in the martial arts business? Thank you. I mean, the thing is I know he has and we have, and you don't know that. There's people that can be made, that'll take a 50% pay cut potentially because they're burnt out and they love martial arts, but you never even approach them or ask them because you just automatically assume, I can't match their salary. You don't even ask. You don't even try. If you have an adult that's training that's like there every night, they like to assist, they like to help out with classes, but they're making $200,000 a year, $100,000 a year, and you don't think that they would do this for 50 or whatever. I mean, you don't know until you ask. You don't know. But in the interview process, okay, you got to make sure that they have the same goals that you do. What do you want in a career? When somebody comes into me and says, well, I know I'm opening my own school someday. I want to open my own school. Today I don't necessarily have a problem with that because, by the way, everybody in here should have a non-compete, and if it's legal and and you should have an attorney do it because you can't say you can't work anywhere within 1,000 miles of my school. That would never hold up, right? But a good non-compete, at least it's a deterrent for them to do it for so many miles, and I do that. But what I have found is, listen, guys, it's a natural progression. As a student, you want to become an instructor. As an instructor, you want to own your own school someday. But then when you start realizing how much is involved with the business, if you can provide a corporate ladder and a career path, a lot of our guys that said they wanted to own their own school, a lot of them said, I just want to keep working for the bigger company. I want to work for the bigger company. And because they understand that they can still grow financially and have more flexibility and a lot less stress on the outside stuff. So you got to see what their career goals are, okay? Then if you like them, you got to let them, part of the interview, when can you come in for 2 hours? I'm going to have you warm up classes. And if they're a program director, when can you come in for 2 hours and just watch and see what we do? Because if you don't do that and you paint this glorious picture, that was a mistake I used to make 20 years ago. If you paint this great picture and say, you know, it's this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 then they come in. Has anyone in here ever had somebody get hired, come in the first day and never show back up again? Raise your hand if that's happened. Okay, that's like 7, 8 people. Because you painted such a picture, they came in expected one thing and it was totally different. So the second part of the interview is you got to come into our school during busy hours and see what we do and make sure this is what you want to do. If it's an instructor, I got to see, they go, well, what do you want me to do on the floor? Whatever you want to do on the floor. I'm going to introduce you as a guest instructor, warm them up, take them through some drills for about 15 minutes, just do whatever you want to do and then assist. Because all I'm looking for, I want to see how they interact with students. I want to see their presence on the floor. I want to see their energy on the floor. If they pass that, I'll do a third interview where we'll sit down and I will offer them a position. And when I offer them a position, I like to start them on a 90-day trial period. Preferably it's part-time. Now, the last few people we've hired, I've relocated them. If I relocate you, you'll start at full-time right out of the gate. I can't expect you to relocate and be hourly for the first 90 days. No, what are... No, you're right. Yeah, somebody asked me, we did this just last week. Somebody wants to relocate. I said, I'll pay for the hotel room. You come down here, I'll put you up in a hotel. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to talk to you on the phone and hire you and relocate you and have you start without meeting you. And you got to come in. And yes, I will pay for the hotel. Why will I pay for the hotel? By the way, this was driving distance. This was like a 6-7 hour drive. When I was looking at when I hired someone from Pennsylvania to Florida, I paid for their plane ticket and their hotel. Because this is my investment too. They're looking for a job, but they could probably find a job anywhere if they're good, any martial arts school. But I need good people. I'm going to invest a few $100s. I'm going to fly you in, and you're going to teach for 2 days. I'm going to put you up in a hotel room for 2 nights. And I'm going to see. And if it works, great. I'm going to hire you. And I did. And we hired this person, or I hired this person back in the day. But listen, you need people. You need good people. Okay? Yes, sir.
One of the issues that I've had in the past is when I'm advertising for a full-time position, and then I tell them that I want them to start for 90 days part-time. I've lost,
So what he said is, he goes, when he's advertising for a full-time position and says for the first 90 days he's going to go part-time, if that person is good and I'm confident in them and they need full-time now, they're coming on full-time now. Still on a 90-day trial period. But I'm going to bring them on full-time. Because if they're good, I'm going to hire them. Or if they seem good, I'm going to hire them. But I don't know how good you really are until I get the 90 days. Yes, sir.
So everybody knows, one of the reasons we do the 90-day.
Wait, hold on. Why? Raise your hand if you think you know. Don't say it. Raise your hand if you think you know why we do a 90-day trial period, besides just getting to know them. Okay, Silverman.
One of the reasons typically you can hire somebody within 90 days and not be on the hook for unemployment and potential lawsuits or whatnot if it's truly a trial period. So it's a little more self-serving than just saying, oh, we want to get to know you and see if you're any good. There's a lot of even things with really good people come up in that period of time. So at 90 days, we have marked on the calendar, day number 80, decide what we're doing.
Right. So that's the real reason behind that, okay? Now, when you train, here's what I recommend. First of all, let me say what Master Hayes asked me. He says, what do you do with vacation time and how do you handle that? You guys got to start right now, whether you have staff or not, because if you follow our systems, you're going to grow your business. You're going to need it eventually. You need to have policies in place. You need to have an employee handbook. You need to have policies. What is your vacation time? What's your sick time? Are you offering any kind of benefits? Are you not? Are there benefits after so many years? Is there a structure, a way to get base pay or salary? Come up with policies. What time do you have to be in? What are the consequences? If you're late, it's 1 strike and there's a warning. Strike 2, there's a written warning. You need to go through everything. On vacation time? Yes. Yeah. hey, we just care about you guys. We get a little rough sometimes. It's because we care. He was on the phone with Mr. Nebkin one day, and I just walk in the office, I have my stuff, and I hear, effing listen to me, and this, and I'm like, it's Nebkin. I'm like, he's like, I'm telling him he's okay with this vacation time, with his staffing, or this, that, and I'm like, okay, all right. But it was pretty funny, and he appreciated it.
It's in place, and it's already making.
It was in place that second you hung up that phone, I think. I mean, that was funny. But the thing is we know what we're doing. You need to have a policy. You need to have an employee handbook. You need to really go through it. You need to stick to it. You cannot be held hostage, because if it's in your handbook and somebody reads it, they have to sign it when they get hired, that they've read it and they understand it. And then if it says if you're late to work, there's this, and you're held hostage and they're late to work and you don't do it, every other policy in that handbook is good for nothing as far as they're concerned now. You've set a standard. And you have to hold yourself to it. But you need a policy, you need a handbook, okay? Then training, okay? You need, and I tell this, I meet with my managers. I have a lot of people that are coming in on Monday to Mr. Silverman and I's office, seeing the schools next week. We'll have a staff meeting Monday. I meet with all the managers. Their job is to go into their schools and meet with their teams. And that's why we don't know everybody. We don't know everybody's name. But when they meet with their teams, my guys will say, hey, Mr. Metzger, so-and-so's in high school or so-and-so is in college, and I don't know how I can meet with them, and go over this. Because I'll walk into a school, or I'll see somebody, and I'll say, did Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so tell you about that? And they're like, no. And then I'll get on the phone with the manager and say, did you not? They said, well, I said, listen to me clearly, and now I'm talking to you. I don't care if you have to stay at 9 o'clock at night. I don't care if you have to come in on Saturday, Sunday. You got to meet with your team. You make it happen when everyone can be there. That's your job. You got to get everyone on the same page. No excuses. Maybe you can't meet with everybody in the hours that you're there. That's part of your job. You figure out when you can get everyone together so everybody's on the same page. You got to meet with your team. So I always like the meeting Monday, not Friday, because then they have a weekend and they've forgotten everything anyway. Monday to set the tone for the week. Who's on our upgrade list? What are our goals? Who's on our renewal list? By the way, what do we do with renewals? You're an assistant instructor. Make sure you're highlighting them, spotlighting them. Make sure you're talking to the parents after class. Keep the energy high. What events do we have coming up? Let's make sure we get these announced. Monday's the big meeting. But then I got to have a little timeout meeting, I call it, on Wednesday. On Wednesday. If I have a renewal list, let's say, and people are expiring in the month of February, and we make that list February 1st, and we say, guys, here's on the renewal, we got to get these people renewed. And I do that on Monday. And then I wait till next Monday and I have the meeting, and I'll say, okay, guys, let's just review. How's this renewal list with these clients? What did we do? Man, it was so busy last week, we didn't even get a chance to even talk to them because it was so hectic, it was so crazy. We just lost 25% of the month. It's gone. If I have a little 20-minute meeting on Wednesday, just to say, guys, how we doing on this? Are we on this? Oh, it's been crazy. You haven't talked to anybody? Guys, we're not letting this week go. Get on these renewals tonight. And by the way, get the announcements made and the passes out for the event that's coming up in 2 weeks. You got to start now. Well, now I didn't lose the week. And the sport analogy that I like to use on this is football, basketball, everybody. They practice all week. That's their meeting. Practice is their meeting. That's their team meeting. And their focus is to beat the team. Our focus is to hit our goal. They have a mission. We have a mission. They have a target. Win. We have a target. Whatever your number is that we got to do this month. That's all they do for a whole week. That's their team meeting. Then they go out in the game. When they go out in the game, the coaches just don't now sit back and just watch the scoreboard. It's not being executed. We're forgetting. We're not doing time. Come here. Guys, we talked about this in practice. You got to do this. Do the same thing in business. You got to have some mini timeouts and make sure that we're staying on page. You got to do it. By the way, those timeouts can be your class is lined up. All right, guys, everybody, jumping jacks, go. Hey, listen, did we hit these renewals? Did we talk to them? Because I see Johnny's in class. Did you talk to these people yet? You got to get the little timeouts. And then you always have to accept the fact, whether it's you or you bring somebody up on your corporate ladder to do it for you, training never ends. Training never ends. You constantly will have to keep the training going, keep the accountability going constantly. Okay? Now, real quick. And by the way, we have a 6-hour instructor college we're doing Sunday for all our CMA schools. I'm not running that. That's part of another step for a district instructor. That's a position that was created. If you come to our corporate offices, 90% of the people in that corporate office were instructors or program directors in schools that now work in an office setting from 10 to 6. That's a step. That's a direction. Okay? But we make sure that we let everybody know that there's a million directions. We can accomplish your goals. That's what I want my staff to know. We can get you to wherever you want to be with a career. You got to make sure that's clear. Does anyone have any questions about staff? Sir? I'll repeat the question too.
Okay, I've always had staffing problems. What can I do when I go back Monday? I don't have this huge career path set up. What can I do to motivate these people, my instructors, motivated to really do the best?
What can I do to motivate my instructors to really do the best?
Is it money or
Is it money? Like, what is it that I can do on Monday when I get back to motivate my instructors to really do the best? Sometimes it's money. It's not always money. It's recognition. Believe it or not, and I say that because I actually did a blind survey with all my staff. What's the most important? Recognition was one. They want to be recognized for a job well done. So you got to praise. Hey, has anyone heard of praise, correct praise when you teach students? You got to do that with your staff. You got to praise them, correct them, praise them. You got to be on top of it. But when you go back on Monday, say, guys, you know what? I told my guys this in January. We have a very successful business. I mean, we're doing quite well with our schools, right? We're doing so well. Guys, listen to me carefully on this. We're doing so well that we got comfortable. We got comfortable. And I said to them, and I got motivated. I just got motivated because I started saying, I've lost sight a minute here. I'm so busy helping you guys, I'm not helping myself. No, I'm going to tease it. I said, hey, we're doing great, but man, I know we could be doing so much better. So I came in after the new year at the first meeting, and I said, guys, here's the deal. I am motivated. We are doing awesome. We had a record year last year. I said, but we're taking this train to the top of the mountain, and I'm going to be the one driving. And if you trust me, get on. If you don't, you're free to get off. I said, but if you stay on, you're going with me. We're going to the top. I said, and I'm motivated, and we're going to do this. And we had a record January. And I don't know if Silverman's been getting the text, but it looks like we may have a record February. And if we can make it till June, we'll have a record month every month for an entire year after 25 years of being in business. But I rally the troops like that, and I tell them, but my guys know. If you say something like that, they'll be like, well, what's at the top of the mountain? Like, my guys know they're going to make more money. They're going to have more flexibility. They are going to have more opportunity for advancement and different career paths. They're going to know that if they want to, I had one guy that I offered, you want to get out of school and not work till 9 o'clock at night? I'll have you work 9 to 4. I'm not leaving my students. All right. He wants to stay there. Didn't matter about money either. And by the way, we've had people take a pay cut to get out of the school's work until 9 o'clock at night to get a position in our office. You got to talk to your team, and you got to have at least annual meetings. Let's talk about your strengths, your weaknesses. What do you love and what do you feel you're really good at? What do you love about the job? What would you like to see improve with the job? Go through it. Ask them, where do you want to see yourself in a year from now? Ask them. Sir, and then you, sir.
I've asked you this before privately, but I'd like you to answer again. While our full-time staff does a fine job, I've always, since we see that full-timers from our part-timers, but I'd like to
All right, he wants to give his hourly people. Yes, Sylv? Yeah, that's a spiff. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he wants to give his hourly people, instead of just the hourly pay, an incentive to do something, and that's one-offs, like spiffs. But it depends on their job description. When I have hourly people that want to make more money, I say, and I want to pay you more money. I'll give you $50 for every birthday party you book, and I'll give you $25 from every student from that birthday party that enrolls. You want to make more money? Sometimes you're going to find they just want more money, but they don't want to work for more money. So I test the waters out with that first. Work, and I'm going to reward you. If you just want more money, I'll ask them, okay, what are you going to do for that more money? But if they're involved with doing intro lessons and stuff, maybe I'll say this month you get so many enrollments, I'm putting money into a pot and it's going to be split between the part-timers. But it depends on their job description. If all they do is come in at 5 and teach a class and then they don't even know what's going on, a bonus is for going above and beyond your normal job. That's what a bonus is. Yes, sir.
I hear a lot of, talk about, the instructors coming in, and your staff coming in, training and so forth. When do your instructors train to continue?
Tuesdays at 11:30 is when my instructors do instructor college and instructor training.
Pay them for that?
Their salary.
So that's part of their.
That's part of their deal. If I have an hourly person and I need them to come in for a meeting, if it's mandatory, I pay them. That's work. I'm not going to have somebody have to get dressed, get out of their house, come to work and tell them, but I'm not going to pay you for this, but you got to be here. Can't do that. Now, this 6-hour instructor training, I told my district managers, I said, we're going to test the waters. We're doing a 6-hour training on Sunday. They're like, I really want some of the hourly assistants to come to this. It's going to be really good for them. I said, you know what? Whoever you want to come, tell them if they want, they can come, but it's not paid. It's voluntary. Let's see who shows up. That's what I'm waiting. Yes, sir. And then, last two questions, here and here. Go ahead.
On part-timers, how much do we tell them about the business? Like, I brought my whole staff in today. 2 of them, besides Kirsten, she's pretty much full-time with me, but the other 2 are lead instructor and program director now. How much do we tell them, like, about the business and where our goals are and what we're doing, because they're not full-time? And then the other one is, how much of a raise would you say when someone's about to get ready? Would you go by the quarter, by the half, by the dollar? How much raise do you give them?
Okay, raises will be dependent upon how long it's been since you've given them a raise and how much value they're doing, how much work, how hard they're working. Could be $1, could be 50 cents, could be $1.50 if they're hourly. The next thing is how much do you tell them about the business? Assistant instructors, everybody in here. I don't care if you have SWAT team volunteers. This is part of painting that picture that there's a career and there's a business here. I don't care if they're your brown belt like free that just helps you with a class. I'm going to explain to them this renewal list that I have tacked on the wall up here, and that I want to make sure these are the people you really got to zone in. As a matter of fact, if you get a chance, walk them off the mat and tell the parent how you think their child did. I'm going to show them the upgrade list, and I'm going to be telling them the same thing. Highlight, spotlight, make sure you're praising these people. I'm going to also tell them these people with this card or this stripe or this, that, or the other, however you decipher it, those are people that are on trial. They didn't enroll yet. You're on audition. They're here to test it out to see if they want to join the school. You need to make sure you're really working it so they will join the school. So the business side with the assistants, part-timers in the beginning, they're going to know that much. They don't need to know numbers or anything yet, but they're going to know that it's more than just counting to 10, holding targets and running a class and telling kids to make a tighter fist and bend their knee. Okay? They're going to know that because they start understanding there's more to it than just teaching karate lessons. And that's something most of us, if not all of us, didn't have. All of our karate instructors were like, not all of them, I'm exaggerating, were part-time karate guys in stinky little schools, driving an old beat-up car that had full-time jobs, but they did this because they loved it, and we never knew maybe there's a real career that I can really be successful in the martial arts business. Your students may not feel different. Some of your students may think you're a multimillionaire, but they got to understand that there's a career path there, okay? All right, guys, we're going to take a 4-minute stretch, and then we're done. This is the last section. Robbie Beard's coming up, and then we are out of here.
All right, here we go, guys. This is the last hour. This is what I like to call the hour of power because it's going to be good. Okay, so here's what I want you to think about is, or what I'm going to talk about today is going to be how do we get kids in our facilities. Okay. So yesterday we did some active shooter stuff. Good feedback from that. Appreciate the feedback, guys. That was great. We talked about active shooter because that's kind of what I'm doing to get adults in the door. So now we want to start going, look, we can't forget about kids. That's our go-to market. We're safety experts, and we need to make sure we're utilizing this. So in a nutshell, we're going to just cover a stranger danger topic. But why I want to talk about stranger danger now is because in Memphis, we do have spring break, okay? And in about 2 weeks, they're going to set the clocks forward. So that means instead of it getting dark at 6, it's going to get dark at 7. The weather's going to start warming up, and the kids are going to start playing outside. The playgrounds are going to get busy. The grass is going to turn green. There going to be more outside stuff going on. So I'm going to contact the newscast and tell them exactly what I just told you. Hey, newscast, guess what? Time's changing. The weather's nice. Kids are outside playing. They're staying outside longer. The street lights don't come on till later, and child abductions are going to happen. Let me give you the most scariest stat you need to know, that there's 11 kids in the United States that are abducted every single day. Every single day, 11 kids are abducted. Now, when I tell you that's abducted, there's over 5,000 or 20,000 kids that come up missing. So I can really inflate that number if I want to really hammer it home. But when I tell you 11 kids are abducted, I mean by a stranger in a negative way, and 30% of those will never be seen alive again. Think about that. So now, I was reading something that said more parents are scared of abduction than they are of car wrecks, drug addiction, or sports injuries with their kids. Parents are afraid of this. And I have a little girl, and I can tell you right now, she's always in front of me, always in front of me. We're walking around, she's in front of me. I keep my eyes on her like a hawk because I have the same fear, right? So this is a very relative topic that we can teach, and news is going to jump all over it if you paint the picture. And I'm going to talk briefly about how to get on the news or how I do it. Is what I'll do, and I haven't done it yet, but I did it a couple years ago. I'm going to take my iPhone. I'm going to take my nephew, who's 7, I guess now, and I'm going to take him to the park, the local park. Either me or one of my, every one of us have that one staff member that looks like Charles Manson, right? Yeah. I don't know how our karate schools end up with that, but every one of us have the Charles Manson staff member. Oh, welcome to the U.S. Oh, God. I must have been, I don't know what I was doing when I hired him, okay, or her. So pick your Charles Manson. You can pick your Charles Manson look-alike staff member or do it yourself. Put your not a ski mask on, but dress up like a stranger. And this is what I'll do is I'll go to the local park and I'll tell Jesse his name. I'll say, Jesse, just play around the park, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up and I'm going to grab you. I want you to look really scared for me. I'm going to grab you, pick you up, and run. I'll have my wife video it, and he'll just be kind of over there walking around the playground. I'm going to run up and I'm going to grab him, and I'm going to look serious and mean. I'm going to run right out of the view. Don't follow me with the camera. Just hold that. I'll run in, snatch the kid, and I'll run out. I'll send that to. Now I have built a rapport with my news guys. I do so much. I've been on the news 9 times the last 8 months. I'm on the news a lot. So I'll just text the guys, and I'll just text him that little 13-second video. Guys, don't send them 2 minutes. They're not going to watch it. They're too busy. That 5-second video. And then, of course, I'm going to video me running back out. Same exact thing. I say, Jesse, same exact thing, but I want you to drop and lock, okay? And so I'm going to come up and grab him. He's going to fight for me just for a second. He drops on my leg. I'm going to punch him, try to get him. He's going to fall back, start kicking, screaming, this is not my parent, stranger. And I'm going to run back and run off out of the camera and, a little bit of freaked out mode, run away and leave the kid there. So then I shoot that video, and I'll text and say, which are your viewers do you want to have? The first ones that the kid comes up missing, or do you want to put a story about how you can save these kids? You let me know, newscast. All right. So they're going to cover it. As a matter of fact, I can show you the text where he said absolutely it's done. I didn't even shoot the videos, but I'm still going to do the videos and I'm telling you this. I did a pepper spray class, and I pepper sprayed the camera. It was just water in the training canisters, and I just pepper sprayed. Are you ready for pepper spray or something? And I like doing this. I like giving them their news story. An active shooter, I'll tell them the story. This is how it's going to go down. And so as they look at it, they go, now that would make a good story. So you can't just say, hey guys, I'm doing a stranger danger workshop Saturday, such and such date. They're like, okay, you know how many things are going on Saturday? I mean, we're not going to spend our time unless there's just nothing else going on. But if you can send them a video, show them kind of what you're going to teach in real live action, they're more likely to come out and cover it. Okay, so stranger danger. 11 kids are abducted a day. Here's the thing I like to tell people that really, man, just kills me. You can walk up to any kid in the United States and you can walk up and say, if you catch on fire, you're going to stop, drop, and roll. If a white van pulls up beside you while you're outside playing in your front yard, you're going to run, okay? I'll take run, okay? So my point is they don't know. Somebody grabs you at Walmart. What are you going to do? You're outside playing, and the guy walks up and asks you, to help you find this puppy. What are you going to do? And what kills me, guys, is everybody thinks their kids are stranger danger proof, and they're just not. They're just not. So, guys, it's our job. It's your job to become kid safety experts. Become kid safety experts. Post this video. I'm going to post. You'll see if you're friends with me on Facebook. As soon as I do it, I'll post it on my Facebook page. Hey, guys, which kid is yours? I'll post it. Y'all will see it, okay? So this is so time sensitive. This is something when you get back to your schools, Maya has probably one of the best flyers I've seen. Roger says he's going to try to post it to the Maya Elite Hub, I think is what it's called. But you probably see if you've been with Maya any length of time, it's the from the back, it's the guy walking off holding the little girl's hand, and it says, "This is not her parent." Have y'all seen this ad? It's freaking awesome. You look at that and you go, holy cow, this is not her parent. Okay, so you're going to get these flyers made, and we're going to distribute them. The cool thing about these flyers, guys, is that, when I walk into Subway, or McDonald's not going to take any flyers and hand them out because they're corporate, going to do it. So I walk in, I go, look at this. Is this not the scariest thing you've ever seen? They're like, yeah. I said, here's what we're doing. We're doing a free community event. It doesn't cost a dime. We're not charging anybody, but, there's 11 kids that are abducted every single day in the United States, and I don't want them happening from our community. Can you do me a favor, just kind of, nonchalantly put these in every Happy Meal, and I'm only going to ask you to do it for 5 days leading up to my event. Yeah, man, I'll do that. 99.9% of the time I get that. If I want to put a lead box in there for 2 months, no. If I want them to make a big campaign, no. But for that week, they'll do it. Chick-fil-A will do it. Subway will do it. You just have to go in there with a little passion and say, I'm on a mission to help our kids. I just need your help. You go up in Starbucks, they'll let you put a poster up on the, absolutely. Your church billboards. Go crazy, guys. We'll make sure I don't miss anything. But flyers to all the businesses, Subway, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, posters in local businesses, emails to all your prospects, guys. Make sure, if you haven't already, that you're keeping a good email list of people. So we want to start utilizing that. Call all your past intros, everybody who didn't sign up, let's invite them back for a different type of experience. Get the flyers on the chairs in your studio. It's one of my favorite things. You can't sit down without picking the flyer up. So put flyers in every chair in your studio so when your parents come in there picking up, because this is something that they can come to as well, okay? So anybody and everybody can come to this. You can do it one or two ways. If you're good at marketing and you think you can fill up, a mass intro for a Saturday just by your own marketing, then great, do that. But if not, get your parents and get your own students involved. Now, I will tell you that my Stranger Danger program is part of my curriculum for my 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. So every week, this group learns a different skill, whether it's balance or teamwork or concentration or falls and rolls or whatever it is. But one of these 8 skills that they go through is stranger danger. When we do this stranger danger workshop that week, we sign up every single kid that happens to show up that week. It's so powerful. And I'm going to tell you a lot about it today. So it's part of the curriculum, okay? So I say all that to say that I'm not overly concerned if that group comes to my event because they're getting it anyway. But make sure all your kids in your school have seen Stranger Danger, not just doing it for the community. Make sure your own kids see what it is. They can bring a friend. You work this thing on social media, like I just said, put the video out there. All right, that's good enough. Let's get to it. All right, Stranger Danger. And I'm just going to kind of look at my outline because I want to kind of show you. Let me make sure I back up. Everybody knows the importance of why we're doing this, right? Because we're helping these kids. Everybody got that? Right? All right, second thing is everybody see how we're going to get new members from this? Right? Potentially. But, I want y'all to have the passion to forget the new members. You're doing this to help your community. Hey, guys, if you don't have passion for this, there's your weakest area. That's all I want from my staff is to have passion, man. Don't do this job without it, man. Because you're the most successful school owners in the world, and I'm lucky enough to know most of them, are such passionate people, man, about what they teach and how they teach it. They could take something that I would find boring. There's one guy that just has meditation classes at his school, and he has 60 people, 60 adults that show up for meditation. I'm like, really? They just sit there? Yeah. But it's like, might work in my area, so they're lazy around in Memphis. But he makes it cool. He makes it cool. He makes it exciting. He makes it where I want to go. I want to go meditate in that class. That's cool, man, because of his passion. Does that make sense? Okay. So make sure you have the passion. Now, I just don't have a lot of time, is why I'm talking so fast, and I apologize for that. But I want to get to how do we do this class, okay? Number one, we're going to start with a warm-up. You can do it several different ways, but here's the way I found works the best. I like to, and let me back up a little bit. When you do the Stranger Danger program, we're going to get a certificate, okay, of completion, a certificate of completion. You don't have to, but I like giving away a fingerprint kit. The cool thing about fingerprint kits, you can Google this. I don't have the place for it, but just Google customized fingerprint kits. There's a bunch of companies, and just kind of Google it, find the top 5 there, get your prices down, but they'll put your logo, your website, and all your stuff on the front, so it looks like it's your fingerprint kit. And you don't need the expensive one because you're going to be giving these things away. But if you ever have to do something in the school systems, and I say have to, if you ever get lucky enough to get near the schools to do a child safety or stranger danger program in the kids, there's your flyer. You see what I mean? So you don't have to, well, you can come do it, but we don't want you to say, oh, no problem. I'll just give everybody a fingerprint kit. There's your flyer right there, right? Logo, phone numbers, that kind of stuff. So I said all that to say this, that when the class gets here, hey guys, thanks for coming in for our Stranger Danger program. I'm Robbie Beard. I'm going to be working with you guys today. Our goal today is not only to learn how to defend ourselves against strangers, but also is to receive, everybody who's going to receive an official certificate of completion, so you got to work hard for me today. And the second thing, mom, dad, parents, you guys are also going to receive a fingerprint kit, and I'm going to show you how to kind of fill out a fingerprint kit. And the coolest thing is my favorite food is pizza. And we're going to have some pizza at the end of class today, so make sure you hang out at the end. We're going to have some pizza. What's your favorite pizza, man? Oh, pepperoni, cool. What about your pizza? All right, so we're going to have pepperoni, we're going to have pizza, it'll be great. So is everybody ready to get started? Can everybody say, yes, sir? And that's how I would start a class, right? So I pre-frame, let everybody know what we're doing. I get the kids up, and I like to play dodgeball. Okay, so here's why I like to play dodgeball. And I'll tell the kids, look, we're going to play a quick game of dodgeball, but look, I want you to pretend like this ball is a stranger. So in order for you to be successful in being aware of strangers, is you have to be aware of your surroundings. So if I start throwing this ball and you see the ball come, you take off running right into somebody else, you're not aware of your surroundings. Again, if you're sitting here looking at the sky, the stranger's going to get you. So I need you to be aware of your surroundings. I want you to, when you see the stranger, I want your goal is simply to stay away from somebody you don't know. Has everybody got that? Can everybody say yes, sir? Yes, sir. So then me and my assistant, we're not beaming this ball and taking kids' heads off. Okay. Matter of fact, I usually start with just rolling the ball through the floor. Warms up. Great icebreaker, because one thing I don't want to do when I teach a Stranger Danger program is I don't want to scare the kids. You know what I mean? I don't want to scare them. I want them to have fun and associate this with being a good time. So we warm up with the dodgeball, but at the same time there was a lesson there too. What was the lesson? Be aware of your surroundings. When you see something that makes you uncomfortable, to move. Step number 2 is going to be to explain what a safe house is. A safe house, I just call it a safe house because it's anywhere that you feel safe. So if you're outside playing in the front yard of your home, where would your safe house probably be? Your home, okay? So you would run inside. But if you're 4 or 5 houses down playing at Susie's or Johnny's house, it may be their house. Okay, so you need to know if you're at school, outside waiting on the school bus, where is your safe house? Where do you go? Which neighbor have you waved to? And you have to help your kids with this a little bit, but I want you to know where your safe house is. Now, the next thing I do is I say, okay, so let's get started. I get one of my instructors to sit in a chair up here. I say, so for the sake of argument, guys, this is going to be the safe house today. Has everybody got it? And I got my black belt on, so now I'm going to become a stranger. So I take my black belt and I turn the knot around. I said, now I'm a stranger. Now, let me back up. I skipped a very important part. I like to say, first of all, does everybody know what a stranger looks like? And guess what they all say? Yeah, we all know what a stranger looks like. I say, and I do it just like this. Is a stranger, guys, somebody who's creeping through the night, in the shadows with a scar on his face, black mask on. Is that a stranger? And all the kids are like, then I go, but wait a minute, guys. You're right. But wait a minute. What about a beautiful woman in a long flowing dress on a beautiful sunny day with a bouquet of flowers? Is that a stranger?
See how I said that? Is that a stranger? I mean, making them say, what? No. And then I love this part. I'll look at the parents, and all of them going, I've told them a stranger's anybody they don't know. But in less than 2 seconds, I've done convinced your kid that that beautiful woman in the dress is not a stranger. What about a guy, that's just weird standing by the side of the car? Is that a stranger? Yeah. They're like, yeah. What about a man with a briefcase walking on his way potentially to work? Is that a stranger? No. So I was like, okay, good. Now I get to teach you guys what a stranger looks like. A stranger is anybody that you don't know. I don't care what they look like. Okay, and they're like, oh, okay. So it's what mom and dad have said, but now the expert with the black belt tells them that, and it makes more sense, right? So I'll talk a little bit about good strangers and bad strangers. There's good strangers. For example, if your house is on fire and you crawl up under your bed and you're scared, or you're in your closet and you're scared to death, and the whole house is full of smoke, and next thing you hear, kid, come with me. You don't know that guy. What do? Do you get further away? That could be a good stranger, right? That could be a fireman in your home trying to help you. So it's not always bad people. It's just people you don't know. And mom and dad can help you identify that, okay, as we go forward. Does that make sense, guys? Everybody say, yes, sir, yes, sir. So here we go. So I'm trying to go into a little bit of role playing so you kind of see how I use my voice to really, I want the parents going, holy cow. I didn't know. I figured they'd be better at this. All right. Safe house. I turn my belt around. I'm like, and I say, and of course the kids are sitting all over the mat, and I'll just pick any random kid, and I don't just walk right up to them, and I'll just say, how you doing? Good. And they, just like he did, they won't say nothing, because guess what they've been taught? Don't talk to strangers. How you doing? Hey, we're playing soccer, and we've got everybody but one more player. Would you be interested in playing soccer with us? Okay. A lot of times, say he was nice. He's nice. Bad work because I'm a stranger. Huh? Just kidding. But a lot of times the kids are even. I don't talk to strangers. I said, well, we're just playing soccer. Have you ever played soccer before? I grab them and I walk. Dramatically walk. This far and walk. Good job. Everybody give her a hand. Good job. So everybody claps, right? So I got y'all clapping. That's good. So I was like, good job, very good. So now we want to make that better. Praise, correct, praise. Praise, correct, praise. Because I don't want to make her feel stupid or her parents feel stupid, right? Because what I just demonstrated is how that don't talk to strangers doesn't work. Because I just abducted your kid. I don't need a conversation with me. So good. So I said, now let's try it. But this time, when you feel weird, I want you to get up and I want you to go to the safe house. So I back up. All right, back to the stranger, pull my belt around. Hello. Usually when I say hello, guess what they do? They run. The whole thing, and everybody, all the parents clap. Everybody goes, hey, yeah, okay. So I said, okay, well, great, good job. All right, guys, good. So then I'll say, hey, how you doing? And I like to show them a couple things. Like I'll have some crutches, and I'll be on my crutches, and I'm coming up. I say, hey, how you doing? And they don't talk. I say, I got 20. Where are you going? I got $20. Okay, good job. So I will demonstrate a few lures that people will use. The whole I lost my puppy. We need somebody else to play on the soccer team. I've hurt my leg. Can you help me? Carry these boxes to my car, that type of stuff. So we'll do a handful of lures, about 3 or 4. We don't wear it out and bore all the kids sitting there, okay? So don't wear this whole thing out. But just to demonstrate that now we're teaching your kid to follow their gut feeling, okay? So now the next thing is, and if y'all are taking notes, I want you to write this down. Number one should be pre-frame, what you're doing, what they're getting. Number 2 is your warm-up, make it fun, use dodgeball. Now you're talking about moving and staying away from a stranger. Number 2 or 3 is what a stranger looks like, by the way, needs to be in there. Make sure you really have fun with that. Number 3 is what a safe house is. Number 4 is following your instincts, how to avoid the lures. And if you feel uncomfortable, how to run to go find a safe spot. Okay. Now, number 4 is we're actually going to teach the physical drop and lock. So now what I tell us, okay, guys, look, you've done everything correctly. You're aware of your surroundings. You're staying close to mom and dad in the mall. You're doing everything right, okay? You went to the safe house, but for whatever reason, the stranger can get to you before you can do that. Maybe the stranger doesn't even strike up a conversation. Maybe you're standing there minding your own business, buying your girlfriend an ice cream cone. They all laugh. I have a girlfriend. And so then I run up and somebody comes up and they grab you. Okay, so we're going to teach you the drop and lock. And here's the drop and lock. And I kind of came up with this so you guys. And the drop and lock is something I kind of came up with probably 15 years ago. I took a self-defense class, and I want to say from Tom Pateri with CDT, and one thing that he taught us, when somebody grabs you in a bear hug, you reach down and you grab their pants, okay? And what he said is if they can't pick you up and them up. I was like, well, that's pretty freaking cool. So of course I tried it because I don't believe what anybody says, you know. So I was like, man, you really can't pick me and you up, you know. So I don't know how that stuck in my mind. And then I think that tied in with every time a new 5-year-old comes into my school and they're shy, what do? They're like, hey, Johnny, and I'm like, hey, buddy, what's your name? And they run around mama, you know, or run around daddy, and they're holding on, and the moms and the dads are like, well, come here, buddy. Well, come here, you little shy thing, you know. And they're doing it, they can't. I'm like, you can't even grab your kid and bring him around here? You know, what's wrong with you, Mom? You know, but you know what happens is when they lock on your leg, and they're holding on to you, can't hardly move them around. So hence the day Drop and Lock was born, okay? So what we teach is so this is a great drill to do. Kids get in the line, moms, dads, I need some assistance. Come on. Oh, now they're on the floor. Oh, they love to be out there. Yes, karate instructor, what can I do for you? So here's what I want you to do. Stand right here. All I want you to do is I'll walk up. As soon as they touch you, I want you to drop and wrap yourself around their leg. Okay, I'm trying to do it. It's weird, but and put your head as close as you can to them and hug their leg as tight as possible. Moms and dads, I want you to pull. I want you to kind of wrestle them to see if you can get them off. And what you're going to realize is you really can't get them off. Problem also is you can't hardly run away either. Okay. So what the stranger's going to do, potentially, is like, let go, kid, get. And he's maybe going to be like, get off me. And he's going to start trying to get you off of him because you're attracting too much attention to him. So he may try to slide. I don't know what he's going to do, but once he's trying to get you off, I want you to fall back. And I hope y'all can see this. I want you to fall back on the ground, and I want you to keep your hands up, and I want you to kick at their shin. Do not kick above their knee. Kick low. Don't kick and scream. This is not my parent. This is not my parent. And then I want you to learn to get up the correct way. Oh, now we're teaching some getting up the correct way stuff, right? So now teach them that, and then back to running, okay? So now the parents come up, you know, the kids drop, and say, this is a great place to teach what we call the magic word. This is only a word that you and your mom know, or you and your dad know, you and your parents know. And how you would use this word, for example, is, hey, your mom told me to pick you up from school today. She's running late for work. And you'd say, what's the magic word? First of all, you start going, what's the magic word? Creating that space, right, between you and that attacker. Oh, well, magic word. She didn't tell me the magic word. Safe house. Or go to the safe house and then have him come tell you the magic word, okay? That's probably a better option. So the magic word today, just because we're going to have pizza in a minute, is going to be pizza. So parents, they're going to wrap around your leg. And I want you to give them a little bit of a scuffle here, and I want you to say pizza. When you say pizza, they're going to fall back. Parents, guard your shins because they're going to be kicking you in the shin. Move your foot. I want you guys to kick at the shin, stand up correctly, and I want you to run to the back of the line. That's our drill. Let's go. And that's so now we're teaching a physical thing that a 5-year-old can do because a 5-year-old, I don't care, you know, if he's a 9th degree black belt, and there are some of those out there. You know, I don't care how much karate, kung fu, and taekwondo they know, they're going with me if I want them to go with me. But if I tell you what, they drop around my leg and do that technique properly, I mean, I'm not saying I couldn't, but I'd probably panic a little bit because it is a little hard to get the little kids wrapped up off of you. I don't care if they're 30 pounds and they're lapped onto your leg. You bend over, it's just hard. It's just hard for you to do. So try it before you buy it if you want to. So that's going to be the drop and lock. Any questions on the drop and lock real quick? All right, because I'm rolling through this. All right, so and the drop and lock does include I call it the stun and sprawl, where you just kind of sprawl back and you kick them. So now you got a side kick in there. In our karate class, the instructors hold the kick shields down. They're on the ground. They're doing the side kicks on the ground. We've all done it. The difference, I tell them not to kick above the knee because if you're kicking up here, I can grab your foot and pick you up. All right, they're just not big enough to fight an adult, so they got to kick low. And then also a great opportunity to teach the magic word. All right, the next thing is, and I like to tell the parents with this, guys. I said, look, all right, everybody stop. Give the parents a hand. Thanks, parents. Good job. Y'all have a seat. All right, all my kids have a seat, guys. Parents, here's the important thing about that. Drill works good, but let me tell you something about martial arts. And I don't care if you're talking about bullies, you're talking about strangers, I don't care what you're talking about. Nothing I can teach or nothing you can teach works to a kid who has no confidence. Period. When people put their kids in martial arts for bullies, it's not to beat the bully up. It's to have the confidence in themselves to tell the bully to leave me alone. Leave me alone, man, because you keep messing with me, you're going to be in trouble. And I got to believe that, or it's hard for me to say that. If a big burly biker dude comes walking up to me, I'm like, leave me alone, buddy. I mean, he's taking my lunch money. I got to be able to go, man, I don't think you want to do that. And I got to have some confidence in my skills. Even though deep down inside, I might be going, holy cow. I'd be saying something different, but I'm being taped. Okay? So, all right. So anyway, talk, guys, confidence. So let me explain something. I've got 50 minutes with these guys today. I'm going to do my best to have them leave here with more confidence than they came in here with. But I have a confidence program that's just specifically developed to build confidence in kids. That's where they break a board. They do some cool stuff. I do it in 2 lessons, believe it or not. Guess what it's called? Intro lesson. Intro. It's an intro. Now I just changed the word to confidence lesson, okay? So they're going to come in. I want to give that to you guys for free. Is that cool? So before you leave, make sure you register for the confidence class. I want them to take these techniques that we're learning today and actually be able to utilize them. Okay, let's get back to work, guys. Are y'all ready? Well, now I just pre-framed a sale. Anytime you can pre-frame a sale, you're selling more. You're going to be selling more. Now, at the end, by the way, what I just did in 30 minutes with my speed talking skills, is an hour, man. I mean, you're playing dodgeball and you're going to have them do those kicks on the mat, probably before you teach the drop and lock, to be quite honest with you. And then, you're going to teach them the drop and lock. Then you're going to get the parents out there. And then you're going to get the parents, and then they're going to sprawl. They're going to sprawl back. And then you can even teach the crab crawl back, or whatever it's called. There's all kinds of things you can kind of add in there, but that's the gist of it. At the end of the things, parents, pizza's here. I want all the kids, look, everybody see Mr. Johnson right there? Mr. Johnson, put your hands up. Okay, he's going to be the official pizza giver outer. So what I want you guys to do is go get some pizza. Parents, stay with me for just a second. And I want to talk to you guys. Again, I want to thank you so much for bringing your child out to our Stranger program. It's my ultimate goal to do this for you guys. But I want to give you guys some tips. Matter of fact, let me back this up. I'm sorry, guys, I'm jumping. Before I send out, I actually tell the kids these tips. I got tips for the parents on page 2. But on page 1 here, I tell the kids some tips. So look, I said, look, if you're coming home from school and you feel like you're walking and a weirdo comes up or whatever, he gets, hey, man, whoa, and run. Okay, if they abduct you, that's not fine. But what did you just do? You left a clue. Let me tell you from a police story one time. I get a call, and I was pretty young, and leave that there for Mr. Silverman to pick up. So I got a call, and it was a missing child call, and I pull up to an apartment complex, and I get out, and this woman comes up, and I remember this morning, I couldn't believe how hysterical that this woman was. It was the mother of this kid that's missing. Whoa, calm down. Ma'am, slow down. And I'm like, geez, okay, slow down. What's wrong? Make a long story short, I'm not going to worry you all with that conversation. See, the kid's been at the playground is now not there. It's not home. It's not in her friend's house. So I walk over to the playground. Guess what I see? A playground. That's what I see. I'm like, okay. I apparently need to watch more CSI because I'm not sure what to do right now, okay? It's just a playground. So I just remember thinking, and let me just end that story. The kid was found, everything's okay. It turned out easy. But what I remember was not knowing as a police officer where to start. I mean, obviously we're going to dig in our friends. I mean, but right this second, where do I start? And I thought, why couldn't she just leave a clue of some sort? This is a great clue. If you're walking, you got your backpack, don't just throw your backpack. He may or she may pick that up. Dump your backpack out, make a mess with it. Yeah, you can use it as a weapon, but I'd rather you leave a mess, because a lot of times they might figure out what you just did, and you go, crap, all those pieces of paper probably got that kid's name on them. You know what I mean? So there's this. The second one of my favorite ones is to kick off a shoe. So if you're getting they're dragging you to a van, I want you to do everything you can to kick a shoe off, man. Don't kick off both shoes. And demonstrate it. Let them see the visual of the shoe sitting there. Because that just looks weird. If I'm like, where is John? Oh, is that Robbie's shoe? That's not what, huh? Now, if you just happen to walk up and there's both shoes, Robbie's probably at the beach. Okay? Don't panic, all right? So tell them to, make sure you kick off one shoe. And I'm glad I wore socks for this today. Normally I don't wear socks with a suit. Just kidding. That would have been funny though, wouldn't it, if I just kicked over? Anyway, so make sure that that you're giving them clues. Kick off a shoe. Throw your papers down. I'm trying to think what else we got here. If you're on your bicycle, I like to tell them to hold on to that bicycle as long as possible, because now they're having to abduct you and your bicycle, and that just makes it harder for them. All the way as far as you can. But now, if they're throwing you in the back of a truck, don't let the bike go with you, because again, that would be my clues again. Okay, but I want you just to hold on to it to the last minute. The next thing I like to tell them is, I said, at home, kids, your parents are yelling at you every time you put your grubby little fingers all over everything, right? In this situation, I want your grubby little fingers all over everything. When they go into the car, I want you touching the glass. I want you touching I want you touching everything. If you go to, I don't care where you go, what you do, your hands must touch it. Does everybody understand? All the kids are like, yes, sir. Okay, good. And I'll just tell y'all this. I don't tell this part of the segment, but in the police academy, they teach when you make a traffic stop. I just think this is cool. And now you'll start to look for it when you see a police officer make a traffic stop. They'll walk up and they'll touch the trunk of the car, the hatchback of a SUV or whatever. They'll touch it. And they're doing two things. One, they'll make sure that the trunk is secure, so they don't walk past somebody jumps out of the trunk. That's one thing. But the second thing is to leave their fingerprints on that car in case something goes wrong. We can tie that car into this, being at this scene. Does that make sense? So it's just something the police officers do, is trained to actually leave their fingerprints along the way as well. So I took that concept and said, kids, leave your fingerprints everywhere, because it just makes sense, okay? So those are some basic tips you give the kids. Send the kids off to the pizza. Parents, guys, I want to kind of give you guys a couple extra things that I like to think about. Is if you do, don't panic. Don't get a razor blade and go fix it right now. But I do not suggest having your kid's name on the back of your vehicle with a soccer ball or a karate or anything else, because it's too easy to build rapport. Okay, so if I'm at Walmart and I see this little kid jump out of the car that for whatever reason I want to abduct, and by the way, it's 70% more girls than there's boys. So I see this cute little girl get out of the car, and that's for whatever reason is who I want to abduct. And I see, she's got her palm thing on the back, right there, and it says Sarah. And so I walk up and I'm like, Sarah, hey, you're on the Palm Squad, aren't you? They're going to look at you like, what do you mean on the palm? You're on the palm thing, right? Yeah. Now, have you got your trophy yet for last year? I'm talking about for last year, because I don't know when palm season is. It's from last year? And she's like, yeah. I said, which one? Did you get the big one? Which one did you get? Yeah, I got this one. I got a medal. I don't even know what you got. Look, I got the bigger trophies. I got them. Come, let me give you your trophy you're supposed to get. Come on. I just do that, right, literally pulled that out of my butt to do that demonstration. But you can see how easy it would be, to come up with a quick rapport to get them back. Let me show you. Let me give you. You got the new dance schedule for the season. Come on, let me give you the dance schedule. It's in my car. Won't take but a second. Or it's over here. It's in my pocket. Come here. Whatever. So what I tell parents to do is, the kids do like to see their name, but just use their initials. Put their initials on the car. Put their initials in the bag. Because if somebody said RB, I'd be like, who the hell's RB? You're right? Okay. So put their initials on there. That's safer. Put their initials on their clothing, on their stuff. So don't even put their name on their backpack at school. They're walking home from school and I know their name. I'm halfway there. Okay. Also, I like to tell them, look, you use a little bit of technology. When you're going out, you're going to the carnivals, the fairs, the outdoor festivals, anywhere, everywhere. Say, oh man, let me get a picture of you. And of course, I don't have to tell my wife that. She takes 100 pictures of our daughter, but take a picture before we leave so I know exactly what you look like. I never will forget on this one particular call. I was like, well, what was she wearing? Oh my God, what was she wearing? I don't remember that. I can't remember. Okay. She's so upset she couldn't remember what her daughter was wearing. Okay. And I get that. So somebody scares you to death, I can't think of my cell phone number, right? So that's not uncommon. So I tell them, take a picture of your child. So if something, God say, happens, that we can put a bolo, which is be on the lookout for. We can put a bolo out and get this image out instantly. This is what he or she was looked like today, okay? Not last year's school pictures, okay? A lot of bad guys will take a little girl, they'll cut her hair, put a baseball hat on. They'll put little boys in dresses, they'll do anything to get through a crowd to get out because you're looking for a boy. So again, I can't stress enough. I tell these kids, get your shoes, check the shoes, look at shoes. Police officers, look at shoes. Everybody needs to look at shoes. You can't switch those around too easily. Does that make sense? So it's kind of hard to find the right size to fit a 6-year-old. I can fit one for my daughter, okay? Then let's see, make sure I'm covering everything here. Name on clothes. Let them understand, how to get that magic word started, how they have the power to lock down a convenience store. Teaching these kids if you do get lost. I don't really know what that means, sir. I don't know. That's kind of weird. So you have the power to lock down a convenience store, so empower your parents to take responsibility. And then, guys, at the end, hey, again, guys, thanks for coming out. My gift to you guys, because I'm really passionate about this, is two things. One, the confidence course I talked about is absolutely free. It's 2 classes. All right, you guys can come as much as you want, but I want you to come for these 2 classes, and their kid's going to break a board, and I guarantee you're going to see a 100% spike in their confidence. This is going to help them with school, bullies, strangers, and I can do it in 2 days. I just need you, and it's free, okay? So that's number 1. Make sure before you leave you do that. Number 2, at the front counter, you'll pick up your certificate and your fingerprint kit, okay? All right, guys. And by the way, if they haven't already eaten all the pizza, help yourself to pizza. Again, thank you very much for coming. Give yourself a hand, and that's how we do it, okay? All right. So that's how we do it. So now, I'm pushing pretty hard, for them to walk out and not get the certificate, not get the fingerprint kit. Come on, man. I mean, we're going to catch them, and my staff is sitting up there, and here it's going to look like, yeah, here's a certificate. Anyway, when you coming in? So I really want your emphasis to, train your staff to have the emphasis of setting that appointment to get them to come back in. When they come back in, review some of the stuff, get them on the ground, do this kick, maybe add a hammer fist or wrist grab. They grab your wrist, you can twist and run. Good job. You're up there. Have them break a board. If you do not break boards in your school, start today. Okay? Now, I made it all the way to black belt and never broke a board. My instructor, Bill Wallace, thought it was silly to break boards, and still thinks it's silly to break boards, by the way. But from a lesson point of view, we don't really break boards in our school for curriculum. I just use it for introductory lessons as a way to demonstrate how confidence works. They didn't think they could, now they can. That's really what confidence is. I didn't think I could, now I can. Once you can teach that little simple I didn't, now I can skill, you're going to get this. Okay? You see it in men all the time. I didn't think I could lift weights, now I can. It's weird. Okay? But confidence, guys. But work on getting that schedule for that. And then from there, it's like, look, Ms. Johnson, I'd love to get you in one of our programs. I know you probably weren't expected to join martial arts when you did our stranger awareness program, but I'd like to kind of show you what you can expect if your child wants to continue. I do this after the first class. How many classes do I give them? 2, but I sell them on my first class. Okay, on that manager's test, it says, when do you sign up somebody? After the first class, after the second class, as soon as they see the value. So hopefully they've seen the value. They came back. This is technically their second class. They see the value. Let's go ahead and show them the numbers. Let's try to get them signed up. Yes, ma'am.
Quick question about that. What was it, drop and lock drill that you...
Yeah, drop and lock.
When you have the parents come out there, do you have the parents stand behind the child? Is the child facing away from them?
Either way, we kind of do it all. We kind of do it all. Like, sometimes, a lot of times we'll have the kids, say the kids stand on this black X right here. We'll have the parents, walk around, come here, kid. Then the kid drops and locks. Then, okay, good job. Yeah. Then we'll be Then we grab the kid. You see what I mean? So we'll kind of hit it from different angles, right? Yes, sir. Right. And actually, my stranger danger event's at my school too. But I can do it anywhere. Let me tell you something that's been hot for me. Apartment complexes. Let me come in and talk to your people about your kids at your apartment complexes because they're sitting outside playing. And we'll do something at the apartment complex, send them back for that conference course. But if at all possible, I do it at my school. Good. Any other questions? And Mr. Silverman, did you want to come down with the rest of the team? Oh, we're going to do a break? Okay. Any questions while he's walking down here? Too late, he's down here.
You guys, first give it up for yourselves.
They could be giving it up for me.
No, I ain't giving up for Mr. Beer.
Jeez, man. Yeah, all right.
Next event's when? What's the next event? Wealth event in May in San Francisco. Super Show, Elite Seminar Super Show in Las Vegas. Next Success Seminar, New Orleans in October. It'll be kind of fun taking it out.